We're back in here Friday Q&A. And we've got quality questions, man. Quality questions. Yeah, I know you've got Maldini in the back, got Okocha, got your boy Ronaldo, the real Ronaldo, your boy Zola. Guys, it's going to be a good one. So, loads of questions were sent. So, I could only pick about 19. I think I got like 40 questions. So, thank you for the guys sending questions. And they were amazing questions. I was like, good question. Odd question, good question, strange question. Why the hell are you asking me that? So there were really, really good questions there. The questions about Sims, I didn't pick that one because that was slightly odd actually. So really good questions here. So guys, settle down. I mean, they should really pay me, but I've got a drink in here. Until they cut the check, I'll not reveal the drink I've got in here, but it's an energy drink, so to give me some life, so it's some vitamins in there. And guys, thank you to my sister. This is Swiss chocolate from Switzerland. This is actual prime Swiss chocolate. The best chocolate in the world. My Swiss people, not too sure about what else they do, but one thing that they do really well. I'm going to go home. They make really good chocolate. So, again, guys, So, guys, settle down, have your drinks on good. And remember, guys, if you have any questions or comments you want to put forth, feel free to use the Super Chat function. The Super Chat function is how you can help donate to the Football Hut, the last bastion of realistic football analysis. And I thank you so much for all of those guys who donates and puts money towards my passion, my love ever since I had a freaking brain, which is football analysis and the love we have for football. So I thank you for everybody who tunes in, everybody who engages, and I just thank you for this amazing community. You know, I always have to say this thing. I will always be thankful. We may disagree. We will always disagree. We'll never agree. Messi, Cristiano, we're never going to agree on that. Ronaldo, Hazard, we're never going to agree. But even if we disagree, debate is good. Disagreements are good because I think disagreements and debates is what we need in society. I think the issue with society is everybody wants to agree. Everybody wants to be on the same path. Everybody wants things to be nice. Everybody wants to listen to the things that they like to hear. But, you know, sometimes people will have different altering points. And that's fine. And that's good. And we should approach that. We should encourage that. And we should always encourage discourse, man. So, guys, a lot of questions in here, you know. So I'll go through these questions. Then afterwards, I will go towards the live chat and I will be checking the dubs that any of you guys send in, and I will always be addressing those dubs as soon as possible. Yeah. You know. So look, without further ablame, and yes, I've got 2 phones. Doesn't mean I've got 2 wives. But I've got 2 phones. I don't have 2 wives, okay? I believe in faithfulness. But I do have 2 phones. This is business phone, personal phone. Business phone, personal phone. So don't judge. Hate the player. No, don't hate the player, hate the game. Don't hate the player, hate the game. But what we go through, I want to know how many of you guys have listened to the Kanye West album and the Drake album. You know, I have listened to both. And if you check out my other YouTube channel, I give my thoughts on that. And also, so I'll be doing a review on the Drake album and Shang-Chi. I watched Shang-Chi today. Interesting film. I will do those full reviews on my other YouTube channel. Hopefully you guys have subscribed to that one because, guys, I'm always here to give you the best, most amazing content crack. So, guys, like I've talked enough, let's get in on these amazing questions, man. So, from Victor. Victor says, question, HH, would you like to see the World Cup extended to 48 teams? Or 32 teams, giving other nations a chance, or does it make the competition boring? What is the World Cup? Essentially, I know that it's a celebration. I know that it's can seem like a festival. And it's great. But essentially, what is the World Cup? It is still a competition. At the very core, the World Cup is a competition. If you expand it, you dilute it. Same thing that happened with the Euros. Of course, it was amazing and cool to see Albania take part in their very first Euros, and that was cool. But this is still a competition. You see, qualifiers is where everybody can take part, and we've got San Marino, we've got Greenland, we've got Timbuktu, and we've got the Himalayas. Anybody can take part in the qualifiers, but when it now comes to the competition, like the whole point of the World Cup is it should be difficult to get to, hence qualifications. The reason why it's only 32 teams is because we have sifted out the guys who are not good enough. So what we have are these are the best 32 teams on the planet. I still don't know how Panama made that World Cup, you know. Didn't they beat the US? But so you see, by FIFA wanting to expand it to 48, it's greed. Because more countries means more games. More games means more TV revenue, and more TV revenue means that money can now be pocketed by FIFA and so forth. But yeah, it is a horrible, horrendous idea to expand it. An absolutely horrendous idea to expand it because, as I said again, it renders the competition useless. Because if you now make it to 48, you are guaranteed a circumcision. Imagine if you make it to 48 teams and Timbuktu qualifies. Yeah, Timbuktu, yeah, baby, we made our first World Cup. Oh my God, it's so amazing. People start crying and so forth. And Timbuktu have France in there, and Benzema drops a 5-piece. Pogba drops a brace. Mbappe checks their jaw 3 times. And we're now looking at an 11-1 score at the World Cup. That's stupid. And it embarrasses the World Cup. Because here's the thing, which is why people always say, oh, the World Cup is, the Champions League is greater than the World Cup and it's a high level of competition. And I disagree, but if you do this to 48, they have a point. Yeah. Although Chef, those Transylvania Dracula merchants, known as the Sheriff of Nottingham, they are in the CL. And Lord help me if those guys run into a Bayern, a Man City, or dare I say, a Chelsea. So it could be the same thing for the Champions, but yeah, horrible, horrendous idea that is steeped firmly in greed. So, next one. From Flint the Frost. Thank you for your question, Flint the Frost. In a formation, who is more important, a fullback or a CDM? If you had to pick a formation that's neglected the other, which would you pick? I love these questions. I love these questions. And you see, I'm going to cheat a little with this. It depends what your team is. If I have, and I'll give you a definitive answer, but I'm going to give you 2 answers, then I'll give you a definitive answer. So it depends what team you have. If I have an attacking team where we play on the front foot and we're very offensive, I have to have a CDM over a fullback. Because I don't need the fullbacks because my attacking midfielders pop up enough. My number 10 is popping off. I have several strikers. So I've got already several bodies in there. So what I do need is, because I've got so many men going forward, I need a CDM to stop counterattacks, because the weakness of an attacking team is the counterattack. Pep Guardiola, are you listening? So hence why for Pep's most important player is a CDM. Hence why Busquets was crucial for him in Barcelona. The great Bart Simpson, aka Lam, was crucial for him in Bayern Munich, and Rodri and Ferdinand are crucial for him in Man City, although that sort of slipped him by when you arrived in the UCL final. But now, if I have a defensive team, what is more important is the fullback. I don't need a CDM in the defensive team because I already have several players who are already sitting behind the ball. But what is important is we need an out ball. And when you're attacking, there is more space out wide than there is through the middle and the center of the pitch. So when you're a defensive team and you're allowing guys to come onto you, your strength is the counter punch. And the best way to counter them is through wide. And the best thing to have is your fullback, because rather than the winger, the fullback has a greater space along the and has more space to execute. That's why people say, "Oh, why don't you make Marcelo a winger?" No, Marcelo works as a left back because of the amount of space he has to run through. Being a winger and being a fullback are two different things. When you're a winger, as I used to be back in the day, you have a very small surface area to operate in. But if you're a left back or a right back, you have all the way from the defense all the way to the attack. So if you're the defensive team, a fullback is more important. So now, a definitive answer. For me, I would say a CDM. A CDM. Because my thing is, with the fullbacks, my inside forwards can do what they do, because my inside forwards can come back and defend, and they can do what those guys can do. There is no replacements for a CDM. And I believe that in the last 10, 15 years, the most important position in football has been the CDM. It's been the most important football. And when McLeod came through, he changed everything, because what the CDM gives you is amazing security. It gives you security in midfield, and it gives you security in defense. So a CDM helps the defense, makes you more defensively secure, and the CDM ensures that our guys can attack. So it allows 3, 4, 5, 7 guys to attack. And if we're to lose the ball in a bad spot, a CDM, especially if he's very smart and intelligent, like a McLeod, like a Busquets, knows where to be and knows where to position themselves. Barcelona popped off, amazing team and so forth. Do Barcelona win all they win without Busquets? Because Busquets played a very important role in terms of intercepting, reading the game, and how good and calm he was on the ball. So the CDM is a very, very, very important role. And I tell you this, Brazil, ask any Brazilian manager, which is the most important role for them? Is that CDM. Dunga, hugely vital for them when he played in 98-02. Gilberto Silva, hugely important. So, yeah, for me, I would say the CDM, man. Moving on. From Ronaldo. After Cristiano's late brace against Ireland, he's surely the best international footballer ever. This is the definition of clutch, dud, and achievement. Do you agree with the former statements? No, I don't. Well, not entirely. And I'll tell you what. Let me have a little bite. What Ronaldo did was amazing. It was really good. And I truly commend him on what he was able to do against Ireland. And for me, I've already said that the art of goal scoring and how good he is at goal scoring and his ability to find G's and so forth, second to none. And I would say he's definitely one of the greatest goal scorers that the game has ever seen. But you see, I did in fact. On one hand, goals are goals. Stats are stats. He beats Alidai, the Iranian striker who held that position for a very, very long time. But my thing is that as great as the achievement is, and as amazing as it is, it's got the world records. All that time that Alidai held the record, did anybody look at Alidai as one of the best strikers of all time? Nobody. Like when you talk about the best strikers, we talked about Serie, talked about Henry, Shevchenko, Van Basten, Filippo Inzaghi, George Weah, Kluivert, Gerd Muller, Klinsmann. At any point, did Ali Dai ever enter the conversation as one of the greatest strikers of all time? But you say, wait a minute, why shouldn't he? Because he held the record for the biggest amount of goals. Now, why is the reason? Because who did he score the goals against? In what competition did he score the goals against? So as much as we credited Ali Dai for his Guinness Book of Records and him holding the record for the amount of goals, and that is a great stat to have, we couldn't put him in the same category as Batistuta, Kluivert, Inzaghi, Marco van Basten, and Henry and so forth, because these guys, they may have scored less goals, but they scored goals against better teams, against better defenders, and in tougher games and tougher competitions. So we held them highly. So my thing is that we can't call him one of the best international players ever, because has he ever scored in a Euro final or a World Cup final? Scored in a Euro semi? Shout out to his goal against Wales, but he could have scored in a final. So my thing is, we know what your boy Big Ronaldo, Ronaldo did in that 0-2 World Cup final. We know what your boy Gerd Muller. I mean, we talked about whole Gerd Muller's his stats speak for himself. You see, for me, Gerd Muller is a better international striker than Cristiano. Now, Cristiano has scored way more goals than him, but Gerd Muller is. I told you, it's not how many you score; it's when you score. Because Gerd Muller was a finals merchant. Because when you look at the teams he scored against, that Netherlands team was supposed to be the next big thing. That Netherlands team had Cruyff, all those freaking dudes, and he scored the winning goal against them in a World Cup final. Can I give you a Euro final? So, for me, I think that, like if to compare it, Gerd Muller is the better international striker. World Cup final winning goal. European Championship, I think he scored like 2 goals in the final. And he was also top scorer in that tournament as well. So I can't. Cristiano isn't on the same level as a Gerd Muller, because my thing is that I don't look at your number of goals. It's when you scored those goals. I'm a dud merchant. So he has a place in international football. Like, it's a record. The record, it's a quality record, and I congratulate him. But there are levels. So in there. Guys, remember, man. Please hit that like button, man. Support your boy. Please. If you love this content and you love your boy HH, please hit that like button. It helps with the freaking algorithm. Everybody in here, hit that like button, guys, because we're going to be a marathon, guys. We're going to be here for a while. So, from Neymar and Zad, Burger King friends. That's a very rude name. Loser. With PSG and Man City seemingly, seemingly endless money, what about financial fair play? How should it be implemented? Is it something which European football ought to have? Well, it's never going to happen. Let's say that's never going to happen, so it will never be implemented. Is it something that European football ought to have? That's an interesting question. Should it? Because before I go to how should it be implemented? Should it ought to have? Yes, because it would breed parity, and I think by doing that, we have better players spread amongst more teams, and therefore we have a better, much more exciting, much more engaging Champions League. So yes, I do feel that the love should be spread around a lot more, man. So let me so how should it be implemented? I feel that every team should have a particular wage packet, similar to what you have in America and so forth. So you have a particular wage packet and so forth. So therefore, you can't go above a particular overall wage number. And what that does, it then means that a team like a PSG and Man City can't just buy whoever and whatever they want. And now it now forces guys to now really think about who they buy. Says, okay, because if we get this Haaland, then we have to sacrifice this, that, and so forth. So therefore, there's a lot more creativity in player acquisition. Because what you now have now is you could have a situation where, look at what Messi, Neymar, and Mbappe, do you know the kind of wages those guys are on? And if there was a freaking wage structure and so forth, maybe what happened to Barcelona doesn't happen to Barcelona. So because if you have that, that means that you can't have 4, 5, 6 superstars. It's impossible, you know. But my thing is that it's not even financial. See, your word is financial fair play. So I'm not even looking at the money mainly. I'm not looking at the money mainly. I'd want to introduce something that allows a Monaco, an Ajax, a PSV, and all these teams to be able to keep their quality players for as long as possible. So my thing is, it's almost a situation of there's like a particular kind of transfer fee that you can do. I would ban. First thing I would do, Bundesliga, ban. You're not allowed to buy any players from Germany, or rather, no. You know what? Yeah, you're not. No. I say this for ban. You're not allowed to buy any players from Germany. Go somewhere else. Go somewhere else and buy someone for the. No, you're not. You're not. I refuse. I refuse. You're not allowed to buy any players from that. Nah. That's messed up. That's messed up. But yeah, but for me, this is just a pipe dream. It's going to be impossible to implement this because people just won't accept it. Simple as that. Like, people just will not accept you implementing this stuff. Hell no, no way, Jose Antonio Reyes, no way, Jose Antonio Reyes. But yeah, but so a system that only allows you to acquire a particular number of players, and a system that protects smaller teams and the stars that they have. You know, because it's tricky. It's very tricky because my thing is, these smaller teams, they want the money. You know, like a Dortmund and Ajax receiving 160, 170 can greatly change their club, can really change how they're able to operate. But I think that we have to breed better competition. And by better competition is we have to have at least 6, 7, 8 teams competing for the UCL rather than just 4 or 5, because we only have the 4 or 5 because they keep on nabbing and taking all these best players. Haaland is on his way. What if Dortmund were able to hold on to Sancho and Haaland? So the bigger teams couldn't take them. Imagine if Monaco held on to all of those players, Mbappe, Bernardo Silva, Fabinho, and so forth. What would they have done? Look, those guys, they freaking won Ubris against the mighty PSG, man. So, yeah. Moving on swiftly. From Jabari. Jabari says, HH, pick a team playing 3-5-2. Each position consisting of one player from each of the named leagues. Your 3 defenders has to be from La Liga, Serie, and Bundesliga. Oh, wow. Your midfield 5 from all 5 top leagues, Spain, England, France, Italy, and Germany. And your 2 attackers from England and France. Okay, let's try this. So 3 defenders and from La Liga, Serie, and Bundesliga. So I'm going to roll with... it's been shaky for him, but I'm gonna ride with Upamecano. I'm gonna go with Skriniar, Inter Milan Skriniar, and I'm probably gonna go with Pau Torres. I think that'll be a good back three. Pau Torres, Skriniar, and Upamecano. Midfield 5 from all top 5 top leagues. So my midfield 5. So I'm gonna have, what am I gonna do? I'm gonna have 1 DM, 2 CMs, and 2 wide players. That's what I'm gonna do. Okay, you know what? We'll have the fullbacks. So my 2 fullbacks will be so Spain, England, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Ooh, this is tough. Because if I do Marcos Alonso, then I can't do Kante. So, so my right-sided fullback is for France will be Hakimi. My left-sided fullback is gonna be perfect. What's his name? Spinazzola. So Spinazzola, left-sided fullback, or left-sided wing back. Spinazzola, right-sided wing back will be Hakimi. My CDM will be Kanse, and now I'm down to Germany and Spain. And my two midfielders are gonna be Frankie De Jong and Joshua Kimmich. Ooh, that's a very good team. So Kimmich, Frank De Jong, the 2CM, CDM, Kanse, left-sided wing back. Left-sided wing back. Spinazzola from Roma. Right-sided wing back will be Hakimi from PSG. All right, yeah. Oh, and your two attackers from England and France. Hold on. Let me think of this. I'm gonna say. Wait, hold on. Let me think. I know who the France guy is gonna be, but I just need to pair him with the right footer. So let me think. Wait. You know what? Screw it. Cristiano and Messi. Yeah. Because Cristiano and Messi. Yeah, because Messi a little bit in behind, and Messi threading balls through to Cristiano, who can do it with both. Because I was going to say I was going to say Salah. Salah is a left footer and wouldn't work as well. Then I was going to say Kane. I said surely there must be a better striker than Cristiano. So Cristiano and Messi there, man. So there you go. Neymar, are you smoking crack? Neymar, are you actually smoking crack? You really thought I would pick Neymar? Are you on a freaking crack cocaine, man? These dudes such as Neymar is people are sick, man. So shout out to your boy Hamza 3096. Man, let's take some drops. Thank you for the super chats, Hamza 3096. So Hamza 3096 says, does the fact that Lukaku, Kane, and Lewandowski could hit 100 European goals after a few more qualifying campaigns in less games make CR record less special? You see, I mean, look, I didn't know that. And Hamza, this goes to the issue of people putting so much stock in the records. Because my thing is, they get to 100 European goals. Because the issue is, if you're playing against like a Lithuania, a Kazakhstan, a Baghdad, or a Beirut, you're going to pimp these guys. You're going to test these guys. And if look, Dennis Kane scored like 3 or 4 goals against freaking Panama at a freaking World Cup. Closer scored 5 Gs at a World Cup against Saudi Arabia. So my thing is, cool, it's a cool record and so forth. I don't put that much stock in it because, as you said, listen, yeah, Kane and Lewandowski could hit 100 European goals, and Lukaku after a few more qualifying campaigns in less games than I think Cristiano. So if you give that to me, how much stock should we put into the freaking record? No, not a lot, man. I'm sorry. From Chelsea perspective, man, thank you for the door. Chelsea perspective, thank you, man. My bro, man, what up, baby? Busy at work, but I have to say hi to my brother. I think we are due for another collab. Chelsea perspective, hit me up in the DM, man. I will try and make time for you, man. Always trying to make time for my brother in there, man. Chelsea perspective, man. Thank you for the love, bro. Thank you for the love. So let's keep this moving, man. Thank you for the dubs, guys. Remember, guys, send in your super chats and so forth. I thank you for them, and they help to support me, and I will read them as soon as possible. From Hirsch, who has had a bigger impact on football as a game and how it's played, and influence over other managers in general? Pep or Sir Alex? And in your opinion, is Pep overrated? This is a tricky question, man. This is a tricky question because I think it's neither. I really do think it's neither. Because when I first saw this question, the natural one that I wanted to go out to was Pep. Because Pep had a much more defined philosophy, which would make it easier to copy and mimic and so forth. Whereas Fergie just sort of changed his team and his ethos based on the teams that he was playing. But I say that, how many people took upon tiki-taka? Because Mourinho's pragmatic style pimped tiki-taka. Klopp brought in the whole Gegenpress. We saw Flick bringing the more attacking, direct style. So how much influence did Pep really have on the game? Not that much. I think his brand of football was only played by his teams. But others, like Real Madrid's three-peat, they was completely different from Pep's philosophy. That was just very much straight attacking and much more off the cuff without having a defined philosophy. You see, for me, I don't think Ferguson really had that much of an influence. I just think that he's just very respected. I think that if you ask any manager, there is more reverence and respect for what Fergie did and what he achieved and his management style, as opposed to Pep, because of how long Fergie did it and how Fergie single-handedly defined a football club. Like because I always say that United are irrelevant. The only relevance that Man United have is owed to what Fergie did 3,000 years ago. So that's what you have to sort of give the guy credits for, man. So I don't. But if I have to choose, it has to be Pep. It has to be Pep because Fergie didn't have a direct style. So goalkeepers are now playing out from the back. I think teams are now looking to now keep the ball a lot more and actually protect the ball a lot more. So the answer is obvious because Fergie didn't have there was nothing for Fergie to impact because he didn't have a defined philosophy. His philosophy was, who are we playing and what do we need to do to beat this place? If Fergie's assets was motivation and man-to-man management, which is Pep's weakness, like Fergie knew how to take this guy from the road and make him a world beater and a superb, amazing dude. So that was my thing there, man. In your opinion, is Pep overrated? Yes, he is. He's a good manager. I told you, when you say someone is overrated or something, it doesn't mean they're bad. It still means they're good, but not as good as people think he is. I think what we're seeing from Pep is very good coach. Damn good coach, and he is very good at improving players. But he's not a great manager. And I think that a great manager can make an average team amazing. I don't think Pep can make an average team amazing. He can't do it. See, Pep can't do what Fergie did with Man United and so forth. Pep can't do what Mourinho did with FC Porto. Like, he just can't. Like, and Pep can't do what Tuchel did with Chelsea. Like, give Pep that. Put Pep in the situation that Tuchel was in. Let me seriously get to my whole Chelsea thing. If he told me, let's say Pep took over halfway through the season from that tyrant Lampard and had those players. You can't bring any players in. You had those players. Does he get them to the CL final and win the Champions League? No, he doesn't. Because he has to have very particular kinds of players. He has to have players that are technically proficient and can keep the ball very well. And the key to management is, okay, these are the players I have. How can I get the best out of these particular players? Hence why people may come and praise me. Benitez is a better manager than Pep. See, Pep is a better coach, but Benitez is a better manager because what Benitez did in that 05 final, Pep can't do. Because Benitez was like, okay, this is the players I have, and I'm going up against this freaking monster that is AC Milan. I'm going up against a team that is clearly better than the team I have. I have to figure out how to make things happen. And Benitez's changes during that game at halftime inspired that change. Like what Benitez did in that 05 final, Pep can't do. Pep can't do, and I'm sure Hassan will like me saying that, man. From Emmanuel GJ, cool name. Can a footballer with no particular footballing talent make it out to be one of the best by sheer hard work, determination, and the right mindset? Isn't it sometimes being a team leader, hard worker, more important when talented dribblers and shooters are in abundance? Example of a player like this is Roy Keane. I disagree. If you have no real footballing talent, there's only so far you can go. So, of course, Roy Keane is very well respected. Ambrosini, very well respected. Gattuso, well respected. When you look at the Roy Keanes, the Gattusos, the Ambrosinis, and so forth, they're not heralded as one of the best players in their position. They're respected for their hard work and how they were able to apply themselves. This is still a skill-based sport. And to be seen as the very best, you still need hard work. In anything you do, it doesn't matter how talented you are, in anything you do, you still need an element of hard work. Case in point, Balotelli. Balotelli has all the freaking talent in the world. He didn't supply himself, he didn't work hard enough, and now he's ended up playing for freaking Monza in Serie B. So, hard work is key, but if all you have is hard work and no talent, you can still make a team. I told you. Look at Ambrosini. Ambrosini was Milan's captain and was a very important member of that team. But everyone knew that this guy's not one of the best players in the world. He's not one of the most talented players in the world. But he fulfilled that role at one of the biggest clubs in the world at the time, in AC Milan. So you can't be the very best with no real footballing talent, but you can be respected. Oh shit, what am I sorry? Moving on. Let me just check that everything is all up to date here. All right, cool. Yeah. So, all right. From Arcade. Thank you for the question, Arcade. Arcade said, question: how good was Hazard really? Oh, fuck. Was he ever top 5 players in the world? Yes, he was actually. He didn't have a long peak, and when he came onto the biggest stage, Real Madrid. So it's when he because it's the biggest stage, Real Madrid, he didn't really do well. Hazard was very, very good. Yeah, his peak may not have been super high, but my thing is that I don't really care about how long your peak was. Ronaldinho's peak was not that high, but people still call Ronaldinho one of the best players. And we're going to talk about him on Sunday. I told you on Sunday we're going to talk about number 10 on Sunday, and I'm going to defend my boy Dino because Dino deserves some respect. He deserves some respect. He didn't have all this the kind of players that some number 10s had. Okay, he held Barca by himself from the crypt. He took them from the crypt from the ashes. Hazard, like, I'm sorry, Hazard was the best player at that World Cup. I respect what Modric did, and I respect the award that he was given, but everyone with eyes, using mainly the eye test, knows that Hazard was the best player at that World Cup. 100%. 100,000%. They know that he was the best player at that World Cup, man. So when you look at the kind of goals that Hazard scored for Chelsea, some things that he did by himself as an individual, as like the sole superstar, you cannot deny the guy's dribbling ability, his technique, his first touch, his movement, his footballing IQ, his technique. His freaking was amazing. Hazard at his best, he was top 3. I don't want any of this revisionist history based on the struggles that he's having right now in what I believe is his debut season for Real Madrid. Go look at the freaking same. Hazard at his best was a freaking baller, man. Please have some damn respect. All right. Damn, so many questions, man. From Matt B, who says, yo, HH, with the top 4 EPL teams, which one has the best chance to win a UCL. I say Liverpool if everyone's fit. Liverpool are better in knockout football than a league season, in my opinion. Also, being realistic, an EPL team in general should win it this year. The only challenge outside of that is Bayern and maybe Atletico with Griezmann back. PSG have a cost that's too strong. As experienced as Messi, Ramos, and others are, they can't break it. It's just really bad. It's just a really bad hex. No, yeah, I do agree with your sentiment with Liverpool because look at Real Madrid. So Real Madrid won the Champions League 4 out of 5 times. And in those 5 years, from 2016 to 2014 to 2018, they only won La Liga once. So think about it. They won the Champions League like 4 times, but only won La Liga once. Winning a league is about a squad. It's not about a team, it's a squad. So if Liverpool don't have any injuries, they have 100% they have the team to go all the way, and they're going to be a serious threat. Although I still feel that as good as that team is, they maybe need a new players to come through. But I say that Real Madrid from 2016 to 2018, they didn't get any new players. It was the same exact team for 3 years who won it through. Liverpool are amazing. They're not that Real Madrid team. They're not like it's a very good team, but Cristiano was something different. Rich was something different. Ramos was something freaking different. Bale was something freaking different. So the kind of guys they had, I just think were on a higher level, and just freaking Marcelo. And the Robertson I respect, and the Robertson can't tie Marcelo's shoelaces, man. But I do feel that, as you said, Bayern are still will always be a huge threat. And as long as Lewandowski lives and breathes, Lewandowski is always going to be the boogeyman. Like Lewandowski is the guy that will always. Lewandowski is like that up until of like the guy that just scares people and frightens people. I'm scared of Lewandowski. I'm scared of him because the guy's a freaking goal machine. And we're going to have a real conversation about strikers, overall strikers, with regards to Lewandowski, who I believe supersedes the kind of Suarez. But I think that, yeah, man, he's it's going to be an interesting UCL. PSG are not winning. I can almost guarantee that they're not winning it. Something's going to go wrong, and it's mainly going to be Pochettino. They have the players. The team is stupid. When it comes down to it, I don't trust Pochettino over a Klopp, a Tuchel, a Pep, or even a freaking Nagelsmann, man. But Liverpool, if they have, they're the group, easy peasy, like lemons squeezy. If the chips fall for them and Liverpool avoid, the only thing that Liverpool wants to avoid, I would say, is Bayern. They can beat Bayern, but I feel like Bayern is the team that they may want to avoid because I think Bayern could get them. But apart from that, Liverpool would find Chelsea very tricky. Over 2 legs, Liverpool would find Chelsea very tricky indeed. And we've had some very, very good games down the line. But yeah, if Liverpool don't have any major injuries, they're going to be a huge threat because they have the team and the manager to go all the way, man. From IFAC, who says, what is your World 11 currently? It doesn't have to be the best names, but an 11 that would be unbeatable and work as a unit. So my World 11, interesting, man. No, let's try and do this right now. My World 11. So, so this is my World 11 right now, of players right now. So I like this. I like doing this. Yeah, where we go. This is I like doing this, man. Don't show text on jersey. So my favorite formation is 4-3-3. I always do that. So this has always been my go-to for formation. What am I doing? Sorry. So, in goal, I'm going to say Courtois. My left back, I'm going to say Alphonso Davies. My right back, I'm going to say Hakimi. You know what? I'm going to say Ferdinand, man. My defenders, definitely Van Dijk. And This is Skriniar. Skriniar is a very underrated defender, man. I like he's an old school throwback, and I think he would work very well with Van Dijk. Van Dijk being the ball player, Skriniar being the more old school. Definitely Olga Kante. You know what? I'm going to say Frank de Jong, man. I really like this guy's thing. Say Frank de Jong, and I'm going to say... Actually, you know what? Still the whole 3-5-2 thing, I'm going to say Kimmich. You know? May shop to me, but yeah, I'm going to say this right now. Messi, Mbappe, and C. Ronaldo. There you go. Also, I like Hazard is on the bench. Okay, Hazard is on the bench. Okay, Hazard is on the bench. I repeat, you hear me? Eden Hazard is on the bench. He's the sub to come in and change the whole course of squad. But yeah, I think as of right now, I think these are the. I'm trying to think, am I missing a midfielder? See, people will say, okay, what about De Bruyne? Now this midfield for me works beautifully well, man. Remember, these are De Bruyne would play Messi's role. And I'm putting Messi over De Bruyne. But I'm looking at this right now. You know, Courtois, I still think, all things considered, I still think Courtois is the best keeper in the world right now. I think Mendy, for me, I just feel that defensively, Mendy is better than Alphonso Davies. So there's better security there. You know what? I'm looking at I'm going to keep Hakim, but something, you know what? If he's fully fit, I was going to say, you know what? I was going to say Danny Carvajal, but it's fine. I'm going to stick with Hakimi. Just as defensive, but I'm going to stick with Hakimi. Skriniar and Van Dijk, two quality the defenders in there. Kante, without a doubt. De Jong and Kimmich, I still think that they are amongst the best central midfielders in the world. Messi, the guys can still ball, and Cristiano Ronaldo, crazy goal scorer. Mbappe, up-and-coming goal scorer. So obviously, people think, okay, what about Haaland? What about Hazard, of course, and so forth? About De Bruyne? What about Young? You know, I mean, it was because I was asking, is there a way where I can get Young in this team? Is there a way where I can get Young in this team? I don't know. I'll try it. Guys, tell me whether there's a way I can get Young in this team, man. I really wanted to get Young in the team, man. So, right. Keep it moving, man. I told you there were loads of questions, man. From Ballon d'Or research analyst. Ooh. HH, what criteria would you use to assess individual performance for a Ballon d'Or status throughout the year? The idea of goals is relevant to certain positions. Example, goalkeeper and defender. Oh, I love this question. For me, there's definitely going to be an element of consistency throughout the year. So where for the bulk of the year, you've performed well. So boom. So you've had more good performances than bad performances throughout the year. The next thing is what you've done in particular games. Because as you said, we can't bring goals and assists, because then how do we rate defenders and goalkeepers? So it's Champions League. How well have you done in Champions League games, CL knockouts games, semis, final? If there's an international competition, how well did you do in that? Whether it's an AFCON, a Copa America, Euros, Asian Cup, how well did you do in the knockout stages, the semis, and the final as well? And how well did you do in the big games in your league? So if you're a Liverpool, I don't care what Salah or Van Dijk did against Burnley or Southampton. What did they do against Chelsea, Man City, Man United? If you're a Lewandowski or a Kimmich, I don't care what you did against freaking Braunschweig and so forth. What do you do against Leipzig? What are you doing against Wolfsburg? What are you doing against Dortmund? So that's the thing. If you're a freaking Lautaro Martinez or a Barella or a Handanovic, I don't care what you did against freaking Pescara or freaking Leaning Tower of Pisa. What did you do against AC Milan? What did you do against Juventus? What did you do against Lazio? So those are my elements: is how well you did over the year, how well you did in the big competitions, and how well you did against the very best teams that you played in. Take those all into account, and then bada bing, bada boom, you have your best player of the year. From Joseph Naji, my Niger guy, who is a fake doctor. So Joseph Naji says, Friday Q&A questiones. Is Barcelona's number 10 jersey the most iconic, greatest club jersey in the game? If not, which is, I know it's not the Real Madrid 07 shirt. It's funny because I just thought you just said number 10 jersey overall. Then I said, no, the Brazil number 10 jersey is literally the most famous jersey in the world, Brazil number 10. But if you just keep with this to club football, you might be right. Because I believe Maradona won number 10. Rivaldo won number 10. I actually own I'm staring at it right. Is it right there? Yeah. Wait, let me even bring it up. I think it's right there. You know, your boy right there. There you go. Wait, oops. There you go. Look at that. This right here, this was one of them. And I mean everybody. See, guys, if you know, you know. Everybody wore this jersey in football. If you went out to play football around 05, 06, 07, everybody had this shirt. This shirt was like the most popular shirt that everybody had, man. So I think, you would argue that you're definitely like the Barca number 10 jersey. So because you look at Rivaldo, Dino, I believe Maradona won number 10. I think Romario wore 11. I think Romario wore 11. Ronaldo won 9, I think. Either 9 or 11. But then you obviously have Messi. So yeah, I think it's definitely the most iconic, which is why it is such a huge, amazingly big deal that Ansu Fati has a number 10 jersey. And for me, I mean, we'll talk about this on Sunday. Dino gets my votes, man. Dino gets my vote because people are sleeping on what Dino did, man. And I need people to put more respect on Dino's name, man. I will not accept this Dino slander. From Barry, yo HH, could you tell me about your first football memory and why is R9 so important to you? Oh, I love this question. My first football memory is. So I want to actually. So my first football memory is sitting in my house in Nigeria, and Nigeria, I think it was Ivory Coast, and I think it was. Remember, I was super young, so I didn't really understand the full dimensions of how football worked, but I knew that this was a World Cup qualification, and I believe that it was a penalty shootout against Ivory Coast, and I think this was to qualify for the World Cup. And I believe Rashidi Yakini, this was recipes, he scored the definitive penalty to make us qualify. And remember, there was like we lived near a school, and there were these workers who obviously were doing some works at this school. And I remember looking over and seeing them jump up and down, blah blah blah, because it was like, wow, Nigeria had qualified for the World Cup, and it was a massive deal because it was the first time that we had qualified, and it just felt that the entire country was just in unison because Nigeria has loads of issues, loads of problems and corruption and everything. The one thing that unites the entire country, hundreds of millions of people, the one thing that unites it is football. And I just remember that being such a big deal. For me, that was my very first football memory, was Nigeria qualifying for the World Cup. My first club memory in club football was Ajax winning the Champions League. I remember watching the Champions League final, and I think it was against Milan. And obviously, and I think the big deal was because, again, Finidi George and Kano Wankwo played for Ajax. So obviously, if there were Nigerian players playing for another team, it was a big, massive deal. So remember, this was in 95. So obviously, my first memory, that was like 93, 94, probably 93. Obviously, for the 94 World Cup, again, show you how old I am. And then the 95 CL final, of course, with the Ajax. I just remember, because I just remember like that, how iconic that jersey was. You know, what's it called? Yari Littmanen, Van der Sar, Seedorf, David, the Boer brothers. Like that was a bloody amazing accent. But yeah, that was my first club memory, was Ajax winning the CL final, man. And so from Oscar, thank you for the question, Oscar. HH, you often say that you don't count penalties. Yes, I don't. I want to ask you, is it the same with assists? Do you rate open play assists higher than assists you get from corners or free kicks? Do you count assists players get from putting in corners and free kicks, or do you rate open play assists more? Because a lot of players get most of the assists from set pieces. Thoughts? That's a really good question. The thing about a corner is, do you credit the delivery, or do you credit the guy jumping and making a bad cross look good? Because a through ball is a through ball. Like a quality through ball, like Riquelme to Saviola in 06, and Pirlo to Gross in 06, Javi to Alba in 2012. Those are like, bro, that's an assist. Because they have produced a ball that has taken the defense out of it and have pretty much given you like a quality through ball, like what Javi did to Alba. I'm giving you a clear goal scoring opportunity here. Like what Messi used to be doing for ages for Barcelona. No, I'm putting it on a plate for you guys. So the thing about corner is it's tricky because you just put a corner in. For instance, Ribery's delivery to Robin for that outstanding goal against United that knocked them out during the 2010 UCL. Should you credit Ribery for that assist, or should more credits be given to Robin, who had to produce one of the most technically gifted goals of all time? Don't play with me on Robin. Don't play with me on Robin. Don't play with me on Robin. That goal was, and I saw a goal live. What he was like after he scored. That don't play with me on Robin. Don't play with me on Robin. I'm going to watch that goal again after this, man. But then, corner taken quickly. What Trent did for Origi, that's an assist. Because Trent taking the corner very quickly is what led to that goal. Like, yeah, Origi had to put it in, but literally it was a tap-in. And the reason why it was such an easy chance for Origi is because Trent took the corner while those clowns called Longley, Piqué, and so forth were sleeping. So for that, a lot of the credits goes to Trent, because he made it extremely easy for Origi just to tap the ball in. So for a corner, it depends on the dimensions of the corner, because again, I look at the Robin goal. Yeah, Robin had to really deliver, had to do a lot, but Ribery perfectly had great weighting to give Robin the best chance. Because if Ribery didn't really give it the right height, the right weighting, the right speed, the right spin on that ball, because that is a very difficult skill for, like, that Robin goal. That's one of the best goals of all time. Like, that Robin goal, that's a top 10 goal of all time. That's a top 10 goal of all time. If you think about it, can we put some respect on some Dutch guys? In my opinion, 3 Dutch guys have scored top 10 goals of all time. Beckham's goal against Newcastle and Beckham's goal against Argentina are amongst top 10 goals of all time. Robin's goal against United, that's a top 10 goal of all time. Like, that's non-negotiable. That's a top 10 goal of all time. So I think for me, it really depends on the nature of the corner kick. Because again, like, Ribery giving credits, Trent gave him huge credits for he was able to do them, man. From Drake. Hey, Drake, you released a new album. I like the album cover, by the way. But should you be making people pregnant? How true is the statement, hard work always beats talent? For example, can players like Mbappe or Haaland reach the level of a Dino, Arnold, or Messi if they dedicate themselves? In what sense? In an achievement sense, yes, they can. In a footballing sense, no. Mbappe and Haaland just don't have the same ability that Dino, Ronaldo, or Messi have. They can try as hard as they want and put in the work. They will never be as good, footballing wise, talent wise, as them. Now, achievements, they can easily match them or surpass them. But in terms of just like what Messi, Ronaldo, and Dino have, it's God given. It's just something that they were blessed with that ability. Now, they now had to work hard to turn that ability into something that gave them a legacy. But they initially had amazing ability. Like for me, I used to be an actor back. Well, I used to do acting back in the day. And I always said that someone like Ben Affleck can never be a good actor because to be a really great actor, you actually have to have the talent. Now, the talent is one thing, you now have to work hard at it. But the very first, you need the freaking talent to just have a knack for acting. So my thing is, for Mbappe and Haaland, like they can't be as good as a Messi, Dini, and so forth because those guys just have something that they're just like it's almost unfair where they just have something that they didn't even have to work hard for. It's just given. They just have something that they're just given. So yeah, now there's no amount of work that they can do to make them have the same kind of ability that those dudes have. Whew, damn, this has been easy. From KD, now we'll now go to the long ones. Pause. From KD, yo, HH. Actually, let me just make sure that I've not missed any debates. Missed no debates. All right, let's get some of these debates in here. From Mohammed, HH. So thank you for the super chat, Mohammed. Thank you for the super chat to Dub Mohammed. Mohammed says, HH, if Chelsea or United don't win the Premier League after the transfer windows they've had, shouldn't it become classified as a complete failure? Yes. Yes. Chelsea, I mean, I would say more so for United than Chelsea. For Chelsea, it's not about the transfer window. It's about the team that's already there plus Lukaku. For United, it would be a failure purely on the transfer window because United had an extremely good transfer window. Like Varane, World Cup winner. At his peak, was one of the best defenders in the world. Sancho, one of the most highly rated players for his age. What's more needs to be said about the goal-scoring freak Cristiano, who now has a Guinness Book of Records. So, if United don't win the Premier League, it's a failure. I don't care about Man City. No, it's a failure because they have the team, they have the players, they have the personnel. They finished behind Man City last. So you finished behind City last season. You have a good record against Man City, and now you had a great transfer window, much better than Man City. So it would be a huge disappointment by United. For Chelsea, it'd be a huge disappointment because of just how good the squad is. Chelsea might have the best squad in the league. So, and remember, squads are what win leagues. So with the squad that Chelsea have, if you don't win the Premier League, that is a huge disappointment. So I'm expecting, I'm putting the pressure on Tuchel to deliver this EPL. From Shane Schubelman, you bricked it. Lewandowski, Pogba, and Luka Hernandez. See, I mean, if I look at my team again, man, Pogba is tough. I'm putting Messi in that over Pogba. Now, I could arguably, you know what? I could arguably put Pogba in Frank de Jong's position. You're right. Shane, I could put Pogba in Frank de Jong's position. Just that I like Pogba higher up. And I don't like Pogba in that same position. But the thing is that with Kante there and Kimmich there, you know what? You are right. I could put Pogba in that de Jong position. Luka Hernandez, I'm still taking Mendy over Luka Hernandez. I'm still taking Mendy. Lewandowski. You might be right. I love Mbappe, but you might be right there. Yeah, you're true. If I'm playing I'm playing strikers. If I'm playing two strikers, Lewandowski, Cristiano, with Messi being the number 10, yeah. I might take Lewandowski over Mbappe in there. You're right there, bro. From King Gumbani, Zuma's protector says, how dare you have De Jong but not a Pogba? Where's HH? No, look, I told you. My thing with Pogba is I like him to be much more attacking. So, but thinking about it now, I mean, like, I'm just going to change it now. Frank, then get out of here. I told you, it's just hard to really remember these things, man. A lack of sleep. Yeah. So Pogba, Kimmich can't say, yeah, you know what? This is, I mean, like, okay, yeah. I mean, based on a few changes, this is it right now. Yeah, there you go. There you go, man. Yeah. Because Pogba can be here because he's got Kante to protect him. And also Kimmich as well to protect him. So almost when this team has the ball, a little bit like this, and Kante will obviously just move up here and they'll just form that base in there as well. So yeah. So I think, and you know what? I'd say Lewandowski, you know what? You're right. You're right. Lewandowski. Because my thing with this is that yes, Mbappe is a goal scorer, he's not a striker. And I'm playing two strikers, screw you. I'm a two striker merchant. So yeah, Lewandowski, Cristiano, my two strikers, Messi in behind, Pogba obviously coming in, attacking midfielder, so help Messi in here. No, guys, this is a crazy team, man. This would be a pretty crazy team, bro. That'd be a pretty crazy team. All right, let's get back to the questions, man. So from KD, yo, OHH, yo. With the recent debates over Cristiano and Messi brewing up after Cristiano broke the international record, I just wanted your thoughts on this. I'm of the older generation, thank God. And in my honest opinion, there was no comparison between them. I always thought Messi was clear. But when you're hearing opinions on social media, and especially CR7 and Messi themselves, I always get the feeling that Cristiano Ronaldo cares deeply about the rivalry, and therefore it has become the massive thing. Meanwhile, Messi, I don't think, cared about any rivalry. But because of Argentina, the whole of Maradona versus Messi thing was there. Also, I heard someone on your channel say Messi had to win the World Cup because of Argentina, and Cristiano didn't have to, as he plays for Portugal, who haven't won a World Cup before. But that excuse did not stop Zidane, who won the country their first ever World Cup. Just saying. On that point there, let me go backwards on this, man. Yeah, people always say, "Oh, Portugal never won a World Cup. Why are you putting pressure on Cristiano?" What continent rules the World Cups now? Europe. Going into the 2018 World Cup, who are the defending European champions? Portugal. So as the defending European champions, I expect you to beat Uruguay. I expect to beat Uruguay. Then you would have faced France, a team you beat in the final. So I don't want to hear anything about once Portugal won those Euros, you are now good enough to win a World Cup based on how strong European teams are. Yeah, I've always said this. Look, I'll say this and I'll say this again, man. Like, there is nothing Cristiano can do that'll ever make him as good as Messi. It's similar to that previous question we had of working hard and applying yourself and so forth. Like, there is nothing Cristiano can do that will ever make him as good of a footballer as Messi. There's nothing. So all he's competes with Messi with is goals. So goals and achievements. But in terms of who is the better footballer, there's nothing Cristiano can do. I think that Cristiano is more self-conscious of the rivalry. Messi has never cared about the rivalry. What Messi has always cared about was Argentina. And that is what's really bothered him. Like, Messi has always been like, oh my gosh, I've got to do this and I'll be better than Cristiano. No, his thing was, I can't retire without not winning something for Argentina. Hence why Messi's greatest achievement, the thing he's most proud of, is that Copa America. More than the Champions Leagues and everything, what he did for Argentina. Look, the guy is Argentine through and through. Like, his wife is Argentine. He's known his wife for freaking ages. So that was always a big thing for him. So the rivalry was never really a big thing. So, but I think, look, we live in a world where, as you said, I'm of the older generation. In my time, dial-up was the thing. Internet was not that big. So you were judged by the World Cup. You were judged by, and you were judged also by the eye test. This was before Who Scored, before Transfer Market, before internet sites. So how we judge guys was, we use the eye test. Let's see how they play. Let's see how they influence the game on the pitch. Let's see what they do in the biggest games against the very best teams. So it was far more tangible. For now, with the younger kids and so forth, with Twitter and so much information at your fingertips, it's become very much number crunching, like, how many has it done, this XG, all that kind of stuff. So it is what it is. But for me, I just think that it's been a great story. But and it is why I'm so fascinated to see how it ends. Because something tells me that, like, it's just so funny how life rhymes. That's why I'm so scared about the 2022 World Cup, because something just tells me that this is their last World Cup. This is their last World Cup, and something just tells me that it might be an Argentina Portugal. I just think it is destined for Argentina and Portugal to meet. Whether it's in the final or in the semi, it is destined for that's been their last World Cup for them to somehow meet. And I just believe that either Argentina or Portugal will end up being in the final. And that is where my true fear begins, man. From Andre Jorge, man. Obrigado. That's the only thing I know in Portuguese. Q&A. Hello, HH. I hope you're doing well. Sort of. My question for this week's Q&A is, I've noticed in recent times that playing three at the back formations has become a bit of a trend in football. And the thing is, a lot of teams have had success playing three at the back formations. Your boys Chelsea had some success under Conte playing with three at the back, and now with Tuchel as well. Sporting Lisbon won the Portuguese league playing with three at the back for the whole season, and then someone won the Scudetto with three at the back. So my question is, do you think playing with three at the back is the future of football? And do you think that at any time that they can have success with three at the back? Also, and do you think any team can have success with three at the back, or do you need a certain kind of defenders? And if so, which type of defenders do you need? Oh, that's a very deep question, man. The beauty about football is there isn't a winning formula. That's why we love football so much. Football is amazing is because there isn't an answer. It is this constant puzzle that keeps on racking people's brains. Three at the back is not the be-all and end-all of football, because the beauty about football is, and this is what I've learned from Football Manager, is every formation has a strength, every formation has a weakness. Now, three at the back, the strength of it is defensive solidity, because three at the back means that it is very, very, very difficult to penetrate through the center. Three at the back also means that you have five at the back when you are now defending. And if you have really good fullbacks, it really breeds a great counter-attack. And the bit about three at the back is you don't need amazing defenders, because it's a numbers game, because it's those three guys in the center, and it's your DM offering support as well, and it's your other guys at the flanks making it a five. So the three at the back doesn't rely upon having really quality defenders. So you say, do you need particular players to play at the back? Not necessarily, because it's a numbers game, because you can double team, even triple team a lot more easier. Remember, if you're double teaming, you don't need to be great defenders, because it is very difficult to get past 2-3 guys double teaming you. So, but my thing though is, it has a weakness. You are not very attacking. You are counter-attacking, but you're not attacking, because you having that 3 and now 5, it means you have less players in attacking positions. Therefore, you have less attacking options. So therefore, a lot more is required of the individuals in the attacking area. So your attackers have to be far more smarter and better. So for three at the back, the players that you need are really those attackers. You still need quality defenders and so forth, but there's a greater onus on having really quality attacking players, because you have less players and less options, and the playing position has less guys to pass to. You now therefore have to now do more and be much more crafty and much more smarter as an individual when you have possession of the ball. But my thing though is that, look, when we saw Spain and tiki-taka, we thought, oh, boy, this is it. It can't be stopped. But then it was stopped. So my thing is, If you have a very good attacking team with lots of dribblers and very inventive players, they can break down a back three. Because it's about give me 3, 4 inventive, imaginative, creative players. They will score against a back three. They'll score against a back three because creative, imaginative players, they'll find that they will be able to thread the eye of a needle. They'll be able to see a pass that no one sees. That's what that amazing player does. Or that individual is like, I don't need to go through the freaking minefield. Give me the ball, head up. I'm going to just shoot this 40-yarder. Just give me that little bit of space. I see this defender's backing off. Yard of space, 40-yarder, top corner, a goal up. There are a multitude of ways of scoring a goal. You can go into the center, you can go out wide, you can form passing combination, or you can just have an individual who goes past 1, 2, 3, 4 guys. Look at the goal that Messi scored against Real Madrid. Like a Messi can go past 1, 2, 3, 4 guys, boom, puts the ball through. So there is no formation that is that is the build and end all. And with every formation, there is a strength and a weakness. Like a Pep Guardiola will never have like a back three because his football is about possession. And because his football is about possession, he needs every player in possession to have lots of options. And you can't have that if you're having a threat at the back that now becomes a 5. So it is interesting though, because I believe that Chelsea are going to be very difficult to beat. But the reason why Chelsea is going to be very difficult to beat is because teams haven't figured out how to, and teams just do not have the particular individuals to be able to break that down. It's like I remember the reign of Spain, and guys are like, man, who can beat Spain? But I say, no. There will come a time on a team that will be able to beat them, and even Spain during their reign, if Robin put those goals away, they beat them. Like in that World Cup final, Holland had the best chances. But before they had a man down 11v11, Holland had the best chances because Holland knew that how you beat this team is you go direct. You go direct, and that's how you freaking beat them. Like you have to be able to you couldn't beat that Spain team through possession. That's why Germany found it hard against it because Germany relied on possession. But the Netherlands had individuals and Netherlands played a lot more direct. So therefore, they knew how to play that ball over the top to get them to the attacking players because Spain relied on pressing to win the ball quickly. And if you press, there's space in behind. So my thing is that with the back three, guys will figure out that, bro, you can't run through these freaking guys. If they have a back three and so forth, they're defensive, we're going to have the ball. They're not going to press us. They're going to sit back and allow us to come onto them. So rather than coming onto them, let's have a combination and shoot. Shoot. Rather than just run through at this back three, find that little bit of yard of space and shoot. But things that you have to have the right kinds of individuals to be able to do that. So yeah, with every formation, there is always a weakness. There's always a weakness to every single formation, bro. And damn, this is long. From Daniel Pasrola, Jesus. From Daniel Pasrola, the GOAT. I think he was a manager. Messi and Ronaldo not having help in the World Cup narrative is the biggest hoax out there. Firstly, if you don't take away from their greatness because they didn't have help on international level, then we can't give them any credits for success at club level because their teams were always stacked to the highest level. Messi in 2010 had prime Tevez, treble elects Milito and Walter Samuel, young stars Aguero, Di Maria, and Higuain, prime Mascherano, Max Rodriguez in defense, Otamendi, Dimichelis, who was Barnes' first choice centre back at the time. That's pretty much a good squad, as pretty much a good a squad as it gets, without it being a super team. And if you put apparent GOAT with them, there is no way that GOAT goes 5 games without scoring against shut down by German defense consisting of Mertesacker, Friedrich, and Aogo. Messi always had plenty enough. If he really is that good, if he really is the 91 goals in a year good, Cristiano had less. But in 06 and 2018, he definitely had plenty enough. And in 2014, he definitely had plenty enough to get out of the group at least. There is no way that both of them combined for 0 knockout goals, but score 50 plus per season easy. Maybe they were just great when surrounded by all-star teams. After all, pretty much Barca's team won the 2010 World Cup and 2012 Euros without Messi. So how important was Messi really for Barca's success? If you give them massive credits for UCLs on super teams, then give them massive blame when they don't have the super teams on international level. Hashtag no excuses. Your boy Daniel came out swinging, man. And this is what I've always said is that you can't have your cake and eat it. What people want is for Messi and Cristiano just to be the GOATs. And they will twist and completely change the arguments to fit their narratives. And I've always said this. How are these guys who have redefined goal scoring? They've totally redefined the art of goal scoring, not able to score a single World Cup knockout goal. Because group stage is tough. The knockouts is when people say in a tournament, the knockouts is when the tournament really starts. That's when the tournament really starts, because the knockouts is when we're now dealing with the very best team. So second round, it's like harder difficulty. Second round, okay. Quarters, semis, finals. So it gets harder and harder and harder. Really, it starts in the quarterfinals. Like, it's really like a tournament really starts. If you have 32 teams, it really starts in the quarterfinals, because round of 16, you could still get a riff-raff team that just managed to make it through. But once you now get to the quarters, now everybody can pop off right now, because everybody is now a legit team. So it becomes harder. So, but my thing though is, it's about having your cake and eat it. So people say, oh, they didn't have help and so forth in this, and oh, it's because of Higuain, or it's because of Bruno Fernandes and so forth. But then I then say to myself that, does Messi win all those trophies without Cannibal Suarez, Neymar, David Villa, Etso, Xavi, Iniesta? Does Cristiano win all those trophies without the guidance of Fergie and without Modric, Benzema, Di Maria, Marcelo, and so forth? But we now saw what happened when he didn't have Modric, Marcelo, Dani Carvajal at Juventus. And my thing is, people say, oh, like for Messi, if Higuain had scored that goal, if that Diego Forlan invoked his inner Thanos. Fine, I'll do it myself. I'll do it myself. And Forlan, remember, Ghana winning 1-0 and so forth. Forlan's like, boom, just give me an opportunity. Free kick, boom, goal. And I said, what Forlan did for Uruguay. Remember, this is 2010, when nobody knew who the hell Cavani was. Cannibal Suarez was still a freaking youth who was just learning how to eat people out and so forth. Diego Forlan said, let me pop off. Davor Suker for flipping Croatia back in 98. Balling out. Knock against, boom, boom, boom. So my thing is, I'm a big degree of difficulty guy. Because my thing is, 100%, I give Messi and Cristiano all the credit in the world for what they've done in the club game and in the Champions League game. But you were surrounded by amazing talent. Okay? Like, people don't call Barca the Messi team. People call that Barca team in 2009 and 2011, they call them, this might be the greatest team that we've ever seen. This might be one of the most dominant teams we've ever seen over the course of 90 minutes. 2015, we can all agree that's the best, most lethal front three we've seen in club football. Man United, we can all agree that Fergie is one of the greatest managers of all time. And Cristiano himself pretty much credits Fergie for making him the player that he is. So no Fergie, no Cristiano Ronaldo in the way that we see him. And that Real Madrid team, we know how good that team was because we saw what happened when Cristiano now moved to Juventus. So yes, Cristiano definitely balled out for Real Madrid, but we know what Modric, Benzema, Marcelo, Dani Carvajal, Toni Kroos, Ramos, Varane, even Navas were able to do that for that freaking team. So you got to keep it a stack. So yeah, you can't have your cake and eat it, man. And I always say to guys that, man, the World Cup thing, it is non-negotiable, bro. non-freaking negotiable. I don't want to hear any excuses. From Osasuna. It's Osasuna. High half hope. 2 strikers versus 1 striker. I've always been an advocate for having 2 strikers, or at least a support striker. As I've said many times on the Hangouts, I used to be a striker, and I always would feel more threatening playing with someone next to me as my partner would distract the centre backs, and I could run in behind, or the other way around, similar to Vardy and Okazaki Oloa. However, the current meta in football is to use 1 striker and wide inside forwards, and it seemed like it would be for quite a bit of time. I understand the professional and amateur football are different. So obviously, I'm not saying I know any better than all the top managers. I think the theory is that when counter-attacking, the 2 strikers are extremely effective. But in the game, when you try to hold on to control of possession and territory, the ability to have 4 or even 6 players out wide against an organized defense is more valid. But I also wanted to get your viewpoints on which is more effective, 1 or 2 strikers, as well as the role of the strikers in general in the current game. Great question, Osuna, man. You see, I think I'm beginning to come round on this. I think for me, it's about being nostalgic. So I've always been about 2 strikers, 2 strikers, 2 strikers, 2 strikers, because that's how I grew up. Like whenever I do formations and stuff, I either have 4-3-3 or as I did anything 4-3-1-2. So number 10 in behind the 2 strikers. Like whenever I used to control Argentina on Pro Evo, I would always go with 4-3-1. So the 1 guy in behind the 2 strikers. But things evolve, philosophies evolve, and so forth. Like I think we've left 4-4-2 behind. Like I think 4-4-2 was great, but I think people now realize no, 4-4-2 is too flat. It's too plain, and really 4-4-2 can easily be completely exposed. Unless like this, and I think the striker has evolved. The striker has now evolved to the inside forward. And here's the thinking. The center of the pitch is where most players are. So it's far more difficult to penetrate the center than it is out wide. So what managers and coaches figured out is, why don't we combine the 2? Why don't we combine the winger and the striker? See, 4-4-2 back in the day was the winger, you are out wide where there's space and use that space to cross. Striker, you stay in there and you rely on that winger who has more space to now give you delivery. But what managers figured out is that why don't we combine the striker and the winger and form a hybrid? Thus, the inside forward was born. So now the striker now has much more space. You take him from the center, now put him out wide, and that winger, rather than just focus on crossing, you now come from the wide and you go diagonal. So because there's far more space, you'll be able to now do more with the ball, because again, the defenders are not going to come and leave the center of the pitch to come out to you and just leave the center open. So therefore, it makes you much more threatening. So what they realize is that, yeah, we can still have the striker as like a focal point, but a lot of our goal scoring and our threats can be far more effective if we now have what I call them wide strikers. So we're now taking the strikers and now putting them out wide and allow them to attack us. So if you think about it, Mane and Salah are like the modern strikers. You know, like they may look like wingers or wide forwards in the game, but really they're the evolved striker, because what they've now done is now take the striker out wide, and it makes sense because it's like there's more space out wide. So rather than just wasting all this space and just crossing and playing a numbers game, no, let's give that winger a ball and let's make that winger into a new evolved kind of a striker. So I can see how it works, you know. But my thing though is just that I just whenever I play FIFA Pro Evo and everything, I always go to the center. I hate crossing. If I play any football game and so forth, I hardly cross. I always try and go through the center of the pitch. And if I go wide, I try and maybe do like cutbacks or crossing down low. Which is why I sort of appreciate it. As much as I didn't like tiki-taka, what I did like about it was how they didn't cross. And they kept the ball on the ground, and they tried to facilitate attacks through the center of the pitch through triangles and passing combinations, which is what I like, because I like a team that plays a lot more intricate, man. So I just think it's all about evolution, man, and just evolving things, man. Whew, damn, those are a lot of questions, man. So, all right, let me see. So let me take some of your questions from thy live chats, man. From King Bani, thank you for the super chats, King Bani, man. So King Bani says Mbappe and Lewandowski will be better than. Wait, so Mbappe and Lewandowski will be better than Mbappe and Cristiano Ronaldo. You get okay. I think it's off from one team. So Mbappe and Lewandowski will be better than Mbappe and Cristiano Ronaldo. You get the goal scoring of Lewandowski and his underrated creativity. Mbappe is flexible, so ahead of Cristiano Ronaldo now. And you make a good point, because my thing is, yes, Lewandowski and Cristiano Ronaldo are really good strikers and so forth. But my thing though is that with Cristiano Ronaldo, it's mainly just finishing. But that's why you saw how interesting the Mbappe Benzema thing would be, because Mbappe, because he's like a footballer and so forth, so is Benzema. They can both score, they can both create. And so what you have in an Mbappe and Lewandowski is you have two goal scorers, but also two creators as well, which is what makes them interesting. So yeah, that is fair. From Osasuna, who says Turbo Timo is back, scored a beauty yesterday. I don't care whether he scores. Wait, who's it against? Alaska? He's got a great against Alaska. I don't give a damn who he scores a goal against. The guy is and will always be trash. So guys, send over your questions. Send over your questions, man, in the live chat and so forth. And I'll try and answer a few before I get out of here. So last 30 minutes is here for trying to answer as many questions as I can. If there are any super chats, I will do my best to do that as well. So let's see what you guys are saying. All right, let's see. Right. Send in those cues, guys. Send in those cues. I'll take some. Wait. People saying Kane better than Cristiano Ronaldo. Who are those drug addicts? Please tell me, who are those drug addicts saying that? The only anybody saying that Kane is better than Cristiano Ronaldo is a drug addict. Because my thing is, Kane is a damn good goal scorer. I don't trust Kane in big games. Like, Kane is the epitome of a stats padder. Cristiano is a stats padder, and he's a clutch goal scorer, and he's a man for the big moments, and he scores in big games, and he scores crucial games, and he scores crucial goals. All that Kane does is stats output. So, like, I've always found it insulting that when people say, "Oh my gosh, look at how many goals he scores in the Premier League. He's world class." So you're world class because you're a EPL merchant. You can't. The whole point of world class is you're going up guys in the world. The clue in the title is world. So to be world class, you have to now be able to perform beyond your country. You can't be world class if you only perform within your league. So because this guy doesn't say, like, basically this isn't, he can't be world class because obviously you're not playing in the Champions League. So you can only be world class by obviously saying what's up in your league, but also popping off in the Champions League against the Italian teams, the German teams, the Spanish teams, and the French teams. So anybody saying that he's world class is bogus, man. Oh, talk sport. Oh, clowns, man. Shout out to Tony Bandani, football hub member, my football hub member. HH, what do you think is the best meal to eat during a UCL match? I know it's a weird question. I just want to see what you say. That's not a weird question. That's bro. I love food and I love eating while either watching a movie or other kind of stuff, man. Best meal to eat during a UCL match. You see, my thing is, you want to have a meal where you are able to look up and so forth. So my meal of choice is, there's this delicacy in, especially if it's a big UCL game, there's this delicacy in Nigeria, made it in northern Nigeria, called suya. So it's like this like sliced meat pieces that's then dipped in very, very spicy stuff. I'm sure if Adaj is here, so he'll tell you about it. You dip it in this spicy stuff and you can eat it. But if something that maybe some of you Westerners will know, for me, my thing of choice is brown pizza bread and hummus because it's filling, and also you can use your hands and you can. So you don't need to use a fork or knife. You can focus on the game, tear it up, boom, drink that, and it's juicy. So you just put a little bit of olive oil in your hummus, toast your brown bread, so it's just a little bit burnt and so forth, and boom, that's a great snack and meal of choice. But sometimes I like to go full on. Like if it's a game that if it's not like a massive UCL game, that's like a freaking group game, bro, I go all that rice, stew, chicken with some salmon, nice little meal and stuff like that, man. So it all depends, man. From Brian Severe 90. I'm not going to thank you for the dub, but I'm going to read this rap. When did you find out you were a noob? Never, bro. So because I'm not one. So I don't know when I found out I was a noob because I'm not one. So Bran, I don't really know what that is meant to be, man. But yeah, it's no, a noob there, bro. Thoughts on Saul's impact for Chelsea? It's going to be interesting, because I just don't rate Saul in 2021. That's my thing. Obviously, I'm going to put out a video where me and Ford obviously, give our thoughts on the whole Saul thing. But I don't rate Saul in 2021. I just don't know how much of a quality dude he is right now this year, man. So, but I feel like he'll just give something. He'll give Chelsea something different, like he is, and that's what even as I said to Ford, he's very different from Kanse, Jorginho, and so forth. So because he's so different from them, he'll give them a different dynamic. And I think as a manager, you want, depending on the context of the game and the opposition that you're going against, you just want options. And I think he's a nice, very different, interesting option to bring in, man. All right, what else are you guys saying, man? I know thoughts on Donda. I put up my thoughts. I think I should tell you guys about my other channel, man. The first half was a bit. Second half was better. Overall, decent. Not a massive, but I think overall it's decent. I think it probably gets better as you listen to it. I think obviously the standards are Heaven and Hell, No Child Left Behind, Jesus is Lord. J Electronica's verse on that is amazing. Like J Electronica is one of the best lyricists I've ever had, easily. Like J Electronica, like his writing on that is outstanding. So I think the second half of it is better than the first. The first half lost me a bit, but the second half was definitely better. Thoughts on Sane improving recently? He's playing much better now. How effective do you think he can be for Bayern this season, considering how Nagelsmann is good at developing players? Oh no, look, man, I'm excited to see what Sane does under Nagelsmann because I will always defend talented players and guys that pass the eye test. So when I know that players have the it factor, and they struggle, I'll always want to give them time. That's why I always want to give the Oos time. So maybe it just didn't really click and work out with Hansi Flick. But Nagelsmann, we know that Nagelsmann is a damn good coach because Nagelsmann, the fact that he got Leipzig to freaking semi, says what's up. So, because if Nagelsmann can just get Leroy Sané playing at his very best, Bayern are going to be super lethal because Leroy Sané is a guy that can completely just pop off. Like if Bayern can just unlock Sané's potential, because I always said that. Even back at Man City, I always said that between Sané and Sterling, Sané was always the better player. Like Sterling was more effective, Sané was the better player. But if you can just get consistent effectiveness from Sané, who is a superb dribbler, can be a super clutch finisher, is very direct, and it can be very dangerous, especially on the counter. Oh, that is a weapon that Bayern Munich could have. From Andreas, man. Thank you, man. Thoughts on Iheanacho and not succeeding at City? It happens, you know. You say now, you say not for Pep. Like City, he was scoring goals here and so forth and everything, but he didn't really sort of pop off with the way that he wanted to. Struggled when he first got to Leicester City and so forth, but now the guy is scoring like crazy. Scored for Nigeria recently against Liberia, crazy scoring run for Leicester City as well. So he's now really hit his stride, which is freaking great. I would have liked maybe Pep to have had a little bit more patience with him. Because I think Pep would have loved to have a player like this, who is now scoring so many important goals for him, because the guy is a really, really good finisher and it's a very, very smart player. But it's same thing with Sancho. Once you're in these big clubs and so forth, people are ruthless. And I think Kelechi needed time to develop. Big clubs don't give you time to develop. Big clubs need the finished article now. And if you're in the finished article now, they either send you out on loan or they just straight up sell you. But I just think he needed the time. But you just don't get time at the big clubs, man. So that's the issue. That's good. From it says here, I think the most entertaining UCL final we can have is PSG Bayern because of the goals. The best final we can have is PSG Chelsea because it will be the most unstoppable force meeting the immovable objects. Thoughts? I'm trying to think whether you might be right. A PSG Bayern would be crazy though. Everybody is fully fit. I think that would be a great final. But my thing is, I don't see, just like how it had it in 2020, if they were to meet in a final, there won't be lots of goals. I think that would just be a great final. Because I think once you're in a final, you respect the team who you're facing, specifically if it's a top team, and you're aware that this is it. So you are less likely to be as adventurous as you were in a semi or a quarterfinal. So I think a PSG ban will be cagey, will be tactical, just as it was in 2020. And I think that if everybody's fit, that'll be an amazing final. That'll be a superb final that I think could go that way. PSG Chelsea could be interesting. That could be interesting as well because that will be pretty much be about how do PSG figure out Chelsea's defense and their 3-man defense, and what can Chelsea do on the counts, and how well can Chelsea counterpunch them. But I give Chelsea a very good chance, man. I give them a very, very good chance indeed, man. Shout out to Football Hub member Sean C, man. Thank you, Sean C, for being a wonderful member of the Football Hut. Thoughts on Firmino? He wasn't his best last season and isn't the greatest finisher. However, people overlook his technique. He's more of a number 10 and is one of the last true flair Brazilians. See, Firmino is a funny one because I feel like he's finished as a striker. He doesn't give Liverpool what they need in that position. But my thing is, how Klopp uses a striker similar to how he used Lewandowski back at Dortmund. Then yeah, you're a finisher, but you're also a number 10. So what he wants from you is to come deep, receive the ball, and try and thread balls through to the oncoming attacking midfielders. So he wants the striker to be very more mobile. So Liverpool fans have said to me that, you know what? Liverpool, like I would say, you need a creative playmaker. Not Coutinho, but you need a attacking playmaker. Why doesn't Klopp retrain Firmino in that position as like an attacking playmaker? I was like, okay, that could be interesting. I don't know whether it would work, but he has the ability, he has the passing, he has the imagination, and I feel that just pushing him so high up in the striker position where he's not really being effective, I think he's being wasted. So I don't know whether somebody has not advised Klopp and say, bring him in deeper and give him more of the ball and let him bring the ball up and let him be much more involved in the attacks rather than waiting to receive the ball high up, give him the ball deeper into midfield and now allow him to now try and see what they can thread balls to Mane, to Trent, to Thiago, to all these guys, to Salah and so forth. So because it's not working. And I think that Klopp has to gets out of his way in trying to replicate the magic of what happened when Firmino was top, and when Firmino, Salah, and Mane really popped up. Like, look, it's not happening anymore. So because it's not happening anymore, I think it's very important to just try and move on from that into something anew. Actually, I don't understand why people still compare CR7 and Messi together when Messi is clearly the more complete footballer. I don't know as well. I've never understood. Like, I've understood it based on goals and achievements. I've never understood them comparing them as players. Like, it makes no, like, there is no comparison. One guy is purely a finisher. Another guy is a finisher, a dribbler, a playmaker, an amazing passer, and a facilitator. So a guy does 4 or 5 things, and another guy just does one thing mainly. So how are you comparing the two? It makes sense. Like Neymar and Messi, that's a better comparison based on what they do. But you can't compare an all-encompassing attacking weapon who can create, pass, and score to a guy who just scores. It makes no sense. But yes, realize that when you're dealing with football Twitter and people, at large, they don't engage their brain. People are just narrative merchants. Like, oh, what's the cool narrative? What's the cool narrative? And that's what do they do? They just want to just push a narrative, man, which is just freaking stupid, man. All right. Oh, Joe, this is actually interesting, man. I don't know. This is off something else. How to build confidence who's struggling with stammering. Hey, a fellow stammerer. See, I told you I'm a stammerer. I get my stammering from my dad, who's a deep stammerer. And my thing is the thing with stammering is you think too fast than your brain. So what you're thinking about is superseding you actually forming the words. So therefore you get caught up. And I think what you need to do is take it slow. Think about what you want to say and then say it rather than rushing to put out and say something. So once you just take your time and really think and first formulate what you want to try and say, then say, so which is what I try and do is like, because I talk very fast, and because I talk very fast and I think very fast, I can stammer. But what I always try and do, and I always try and train myself is, okay, just slow down, think about what you want to say, then freaking say it, man. That's always the best way to roll through, man. HH. So CR7 200 plus assists mean nothing. What are those? Are those assists just simple square passes? Like we just had a discussion. Not all assists are the same. A simple square pass to someone, a 2-yard pass is very different from a 40-yard throw ball or a 40-yard ball that goes across 3, 4, 5 guys. Like, I know, come on, man. Like, don't give me this non-numbers game, man. Don't give me numbers game, man. Hey, Detroit Rock City, man. Thank you for the double. Oh yeah, I think this is obviously. You know what? I've got to speak to Terry about this. So big up HH. El Diego will always be the GOAT. So obviously, and I don't know how many of you guys watched the GOAT conversation that we had on the terrace. Do you know that Terry didn't put Khan or Lamb amongst the names? Like, Khan is in the conversation as one of the best goalkeepers of all time. Lamb literally is the best right back of all time. He literally is the best right back of all time. And he wasn't even one of the names that were mentioned. I was like, that's crazy, man. But like, as I said again, look, I mean, the GOAT is Maradona, man. Like, I don't even want to hear about guys who not won a World Cup. Like, you can't be the GOAT without a World Cup. It's impossible. You cannot be the GOAT without a World Cup. It makes no sense. So whenever I just see guys trying to say, oh, Cristiano, the GOAT, I just laugh. I just like I find it humorous. Because I'm like, wait a minute, how can you be the GOAT without winning? How can you be the GOAT without winning a World Cup? It makes zero sense, man. It makes absolutely 100% 0 cents. 0 cents, man. Um. All right. All right. All right. Let's see. Where are we at? Where are we at? Yeah, let's talk about this. And actually, you know what? And let me even check out this European qualifiers I've been busy doing stuff, man. So I'm not being able to keep full tabs on stuff, man. Wait, because apparently Isaac said what's up. Um, oh, wow. So Vizos lose first World Cup qualifier since 1993. No, see, the thing about Isaac is this: is that I remember at the Euros when I was looking at Isaac, I was like, oh no, this dude is serious. Like, this is a serious player. Like, especially because he had a brick manager who definitely wasn't helping him. When I just saw what he was able to do as an individual and just the amounts of problems he was causing, um, the amounts of problems that he was actually causing the defense as well. So no, this dude is something different. This dude is something completely different, man. So Isaac, I think, is going to be a quality player. And I think if Sweden just have a much more ambitious manager who can really build a team around Isaac and allow him to really express himself, I think Sweden can be bloody good. But that Isaac guy, man, that guy is just from the moment. I mean, I saw a bit of him at Sociedad and so forth, but just seeing him at the Euros, like, oh no. The dude is a baller, man. The dude is a baller. Um, would Isaac fit at City? Oh yeah, no, 100%. Like, he's a footballer, and he would fit in at City much better than Kane, because Kane isn't a very good footballer. Like, he's a good finisher, but Kane, I told you, Kane, he's a tree trunk. He's super cumbersome, can be a bit clumsy, and look, the guy just looks is just a bit awkward. Um, so yeah, Isaac would work really well, man. Um, LSK, I'm not answering that's trash, bro. So HH, you're talking about Ronaldo now, not the complete footballer under Jose Mourinho, who had every attribute as an attacker. The comparison comes from their primes. Prime Cristiano, at his very best, was not as good as Prime Messi. I'm sorry. I told you guys I'm older than most of you guys here. I remember Cristiano at the very start up until now, and he was an extremely good player and so forth. Messi is different. Like that, like when we saw Cristiano, was like, oh, like you are, oh, when Cristiano came through and was doing his thing for United and Real, it was like, oh, this is an amazing player. When we saw Messi, we're like, oh, this is the guy. There is just this kind of understanding amongst the footballing community when the guy arrives, when the guy is here. And once Messi came through, it's like, oh no, this is the guy. And it's like you don't need to use stats. So when people say, oh, 200 plus assists, no, I don't need to hear numbers. When you just watch Messi, you're like, oh, this is the guy. Like, this is the king of football. And it was supposed to be Neymar. It was supposed to be Neymar. And so there is nothing Cristiano can do or achieve that will ever make him regarded to be as good a footballer as Messi. Like, it's just one of those things. You just have to accept the truth for what it is, man. Um, all right, let's see. How much value do you put into the Ballon d'Or? Not much. Not much. Like, growing up, the Ballon d'Or wasn't a big deal. It was like, oh, yeah, we know he's the best player. Cool. Like, for me, the main things was World Cup, Champions League, Euros, AFCON, Copa America, Asian Cup, and so forth, and your league title. Like, the Ballon d'Or was just like an extra thing, which is why I just find it funny how, like, kids today put so much stock in Ballon d'Or. Like, oh my gosh, he's got 7 Ballon d'Ors. He must be the GOAT. It's like, no. Like, a Ballon d'Or has zero bearing as to how you're regarded as a goat or one of the greats. Zero bearing. Like, what's put in the conversation is your performance in the biggest tournaments. Because the thing about this is that ask any of those German guys who won the 2014 World Cup that would you trade your World Cup medal for a Ballon d'Or? They will laugh at you and throw you out. None of those German guys in 2014 would dare trade their World Cup medal for a Ballon d'Or. Messi would, without even thinking, would throw all his Ballon d'Ors in the freaking bin just to get that World Cup winner's medal. And that just shows you the difference. Like the Ballon d'Or, it's cool, it's cute, but you know, it didn't really much, man. LSK likes it, man. Let's freaking do it, man. Did you give Rafaela her shades back? Hashtag get over our no CL. Oh no, Cristiano has a CCL, doesn't he? Or are you saying that Cristiano has no CLs? First of all, I want you to respect Rafaela as a beautiful woman, and also shout out to Amira Dime. Okay, Rafaela is my sweetheart and so forth, but Amira Dime, that's lady right there. Wow, wow! Like Amira Dime is Amira Dime, Lord in heaven. But Rafaela will always be my sweetheart. So no, I didn't give her shades back because those shades are my shades and they're mine. And I want you to please respect my sweetheart, Rafaela, please. Thank you. All right. From your boy Detroit Rock City, man, thank you for the dub. Can LSK be inducted as a brick for the R9 slander? Yes, he can. And because I told you, I'm going to be very soon. I'm going to be doing a Brigger Academy for members of the content crack addict, because why? Because LSK is, I think the guys, the dude is like class B right now. So there's gonna officially be a Brigger Academy. It's basically him, I am Ham, Core for sure, Core, and so forth. So there are many guys that need to be inducted in them. But I think the iron thing, I think it's just jealousy, man. I think people are just jealous based on just how good the dude was, man. So let's see. Hey, Jonathan, I stammer too. Did yours get better with age? Mine is inconsistent, more of a pause these days, frustrating and can ruin confidence. Sometimes good, other times horrible. When I was young, my stammering was horrible. It was bad, very bad. Like it was so bad that they thought, oh, I think you need to see someone to do it. It's improved with age, but if I'm, let's say, like deeply in an argument or so forth, it will come through. But I think what I learned though is just to take my time, because what it is your brain is moving too quickly from your mouth and so forth. Because even like when my dad gets really angry, his stammering is crazy. So whenever he's like shouting and so forth and everything, that's when he really stammers. So I think it's when you're really passionate and you're really like intense and engaged, or really excited, it can really come through. So it's just about taking your time. But yeah, it still comes through. And it will still come through because you can't stop yourself from being excited. So if I'm, let's say, engaged in like, okay, Dino against Messi or Ronaldo against Cristiano, the time will come through because I'm just too excited. So it's just about taking your time. Take your time, and just think about what you want to say before you freaking say it. Think about what you want to say before you freaking say it, man. That's always the key thing. Yo, Young King, man, thank you for the dub, bro. Thank you for the dub, man. Thank you for the support, bring man. Thank you for the support, bro. I'm not going to answer that question. Now, that question I think is just quite frankly rude. Bro, like, I mean, because I just found out I told you, like, yes, I'm on Instagram, those do. Stop, like, as in, cause this is a football thing. I don't want to go into detail, but like, when you think of just perfection, like the perfect body, like just perfection is like I've not seen anything more perfect than that. Like it's insane. Like it's insane. All right. So what else you guys saying? What else? What else are you guys saying, man? What else are you guys saying, man? For Mr. Mansman, thank you for the door, Mr. Mansman. Thank you for the door, Mr. Mans. Will you? Will you do a 24-hour if Barca lose 8-2 versus Bayern? If 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 Bayern lose 8-2 against Bayern, we're not doing a hangout. We'll be doing a sermon, and I will go to a church. I will have a congregation, and we're gonna have a sermon. And that is where we will officially deliver Barcelona's badge and so forth. It's not going to happen, but if that happens, it's not going to be like a hangout. It's to be a sermon. It might be like a 2-week sermon, and a 2-week sermon including fasting. So we may have to fast as well. You know, so it could be deep. Boy Harris Rafik. HH, do you think Ferdinand was underrated in his era? So I think obviously so I think is it obviously it has to be Rio Ferdinand. Yes. I think he's still underrated now. Rio Ferdinand. Oh shit, Spence is injured. Ferdinand for me I still think I put him as one of the best defenders that I've seen, because what made Rio so good was, apart from just knowing how to defend, was how good of a player he was, and he was very good in the air, very good tackler. But it was his ability to be able to bring the ball out of the fence as well, and just how he was able to carry that ball. So for me, very underrated to defend, like very underrated. That's why the combination of him and what was his face, and Terry was so lethal, because they complemented each other very well. Terry was much more of the kind of old school rough and tumble defender. He was much more of the flair defender who could bring the ball up. Him and Vidic was very physical, aggressive. Rio had a lot more flair to him and so forth. But I think that's why, like, because you can be a footballing defender, but you need to know how to defend, which is what made Beckenbauer so good, because Beckenbauer knew how to defend, understood his positioning, reading of the game, but he redefined the game by actually inventing the whole sweeper position. But Rio, no, Rio was quality. Like, I just don't understand how people don't give Rio more credit, because the guy was a damn good defender. Like, the guy was a damn good defender, and anytime England went to tournaments, their bricks for attackers couldn't score. But that's why they always lost on penalties. They always lost on penalties because that defense was watertight. And that mainly due to what Rio and obviously your boy Terry did. From Zoteng TV, man, thank you for the meal, man. Thank you for the meal, Zoteng TV, man. Thank you for the meal. The pundits say Chelsea are favourites after finishing third with the Lukaku signing. But United finished second and got Jad, CR7, and Rafa. Either Gareth Neville, etc. dumb, or the Ole tax is real. The Ole tax is real. The Ole tax is very real indeed. Now, make no mistake, it is true. Like, if you look at it logically, you finish second, and you have one of the best. Like, United may have had the second best transfer window. Like PSG, yeah, United have the second best transfer window. Like, the best transfer window is PSG. Is one of the best transfer windows of all time. Second best this window is United. Like Cristiano, Varane, Sancho, that's amazing. You know, you've got two players who have 4 UCLs under one team in them. But my issue is the Ole tax. Because Solskjaer just isn't as good of a manager as Tuchel is, I feel that United's downfall won't be their players. It will just be Ole Gunnar Solskjaer just being able to make the right changes to try and win specific games for them. But my thing is that Cristiano, look at what he did with Pirlo. As high as that Ole tax is, That's PLO tax is insane. Like the only thing higher than the PLO tax might be the Lampard tax, but the PLO tax is one of the highest tax ratios in the whole. As people are frequently complaining and so forth, they think it's gentrification with the PLO tax. But the thing though is that for Chelsea is the fact of how strong the squad is, the introduction of Lukaku and Tuchel. It's remember Tuchel took over halfway through the season, so Tuchel has a preseason. These players have now improved. It's a young team. It's a great squad that has actually now gotten better with now the introduction of Saul, and now you have Lukaku, one of the best finishers out there. You've got to now say Chelsea are in a better position. So I think what tips the scale is Tuchel. Because when you compare Tuchel to Ole, you've got to give that freaking dub to Tuchel. But also is though, and I think United fans want to accept, if you don't win the league this season, sack Ole. If you don't win the UCL, can you please pipe down? I repeat, if you've not won the Champions League, can you pipe down? This is CL talk. This is strictly for UCL winners. Thank you. Thank you for the boy, Shane, bro. Thank you for the boy, Shane, man. Ferdinand lets Neuer get an assist on him in a World Cup. Oh, no. Rio wasn't in that World Cup. Because you're talking about 2010. It was Matthew Upson. It was Matthew Upson, and I think it was Terry and Matthew Upson. Rio was not in defense there because I remember with the ball up, and Matthew Upson was trying to shoulder with Closer, and Closer went through, so he wasn't there. Yeah. Rio was not in defense. Rio was not in defense, man. So, your boy there was not in defense. But I mean that was funny. I watched that game in a pub in England. Anybody in the biggest streets, I watched that in the biggest streets pub. People's reaction of that Lampard thing. When Lampard hit the header and it's clearly put over the line and it wasn't given, people's reaction was insane. But I always say the thing about that game though is that even if it got to 2-2, England would have still lost. That England team was trash. And Germany, Spain won that World Cup, but Germany were the best team on that World Cup. So Argentina were the best team in the 2006 World Cup, but obviously Italy won. Germany were the best team in the 2010 World Cup, but thinking won. But 2014, Germany were the best team in 2014. From Abracadabra, man, HH, Anna de Armas versus Scarlett Johansson. See, we should already be doesn't be purpose fine. Both trash actors. Although Scarlett Johansson is better, they're both crap actors, but Scarlett Johansson is better than Anna de Armas. I've got to go exotic, man. I've got to go exotic. Anna de Armas, man. I've got to give her the job. Obviously, this isn't based off acting because they both can't act, but I've got to go exotic, man. I mean, Anna de Armas, garbage, trash actor, but she had. From Amos K, your boy Amos K. Thank you for the dub, Amos K. Thank you. What do you think of the tackle Messi took versus Venezuela? Can fragile players like Dembele or Hazard work after that? Someone sent it to me on Twitter and I had to be like, because all that stuff just makes me queasy. So I had to be like, and see, when you see stuff like that, I like the physicality in South America and so on, because I just think it's an element of spice and intensity to games that you really don't get in Europe, So that's why I always love watching the Copa America, because I just like the physicality that they allow. But that tackle is insane. And for me, that guy should have a 5-game ban. See, those are why we should bring in tougher bans on crap like that, because that tackle is completely and totally unacceptable. Yeah, I mean, if someone like a Dembele or Hazard or Ellie Robin, they are done. I think the tackle that moron Mounier did on Hazard during training, I think has pretty much ruined his entire career. So, judging on the player you are, if you're a fragile player, you have a tackler like that, it screws you over. But we have to have a way of stamping out this crap, because the whole point is you want guys to make good intelligence tackles. And if you make dangerous tackles, forget a red card. No, 3, 5, 6, 7, 10 game freaking ban. Because that's how, like, bro, you're not even going for the ball. You're going for a dude's kneecap. Like, you are literally going for a dude's kneecap, man. Like, no, that's horrendous, man. From Haris Rafik, man. Thank you for the dub, Haris Rafik, man. HH, Belgium's golden generation, biggest international failure. No, I would say England, based off of the hype that they had and also the players they had. Lampard, look at the amount of goals he scored in the Premier League. Gerrard, look at what he did for Liverpool and so forth. Michael Owen, Bex. Like, because think about that Belgium golden generation is they still reached a World Cup semi. They still reached the World Cup semi and lost to the best team in a very close game. So yes, they didn't get to the final. Yes, they didn't finish, but I felt they put forth they were one of the best teams in 2018 still, and they lost a very close game against France, who were the winners. That England golden generation were garbage, complete garbage. Like 06, who do you lose to in 06? You lose to Portugal. Portugal went great in 06. 2010, you lose to Germany. Fair enough, but you were garbage throughout that freaking tournament as well. 08, you didn't even qualify for the Euros in 08. You didn't even freaking qualify for the freaking Euros. 2012, everything was already finished. So England, based off of the hype of those players, what those players did for their clubs, huge disappointment. But for Belgium, like when they lost in 2018, I knew it was over. But 2018 was their best opportunity. If they had managed to find a way of beating France, they win it. Like they would have won that World Cup. Like they would have beaten Croatia for sure. For sure, they would have beaten Croatia for sure, man. So Mr. JJ Bridgman, hey, thank you for the dub, JJ Bridgman. HH, will Chelsea win 1 or 2 trophies this season, in your opinion, not including the Super Cup, though? See, will is a very strong word. Chelsea have to seriously take that Premier League seriously. Like Champions League, you have to see how the chips fly. Like Chelsea, they'll easily get through the groups. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. But when we're not dealing with the Premier League, Chelsea have to take that very seriously. Indeed, they're going to take that very seriously indeed. And I think Chelsea have a great chance of winning the Premier League, and Chelsea have a great chance of doing a treble. They have the squad. They have the squad. They have the players. They have the personnel. They have the manager. Chelsea have every single thing to win every trophy. Chelsea can beat Man City 1v1. Very, very simply. They beat them without Lukaku and Saul. They should beat them even more with Lukaku and Saul. So, and I think with the squad and players that Chelsea have, they should be able to easy start pad and just beat this small team. So for me, Chelsea should. FA Cup knows Chelsea should win the Premier League, and I want that CL. I want that CL. If things fall into place, I don't want to tempt fate because I don't want to be clipped and I don't want to jinx things. Chelsea should win at least 2 trophies this season. At least 2 trophies this season. Chelsea should win. Abracadabra, man. Thank you for the duo, Abracadabra. HH Sunday, Brazil versus Argentina. Time for revenge. Now, the only time you can get revenge is either at a Copa America or it's a freaking World Cup. I think it's a qualification. So it's a qualification game. Wait, let me see. South? No, it's what it is. On the ball. On the ball qualification. Okay, here we go. So, word. Brazil, Argentina. Hey. Yeah. Should be. I mean, yeah, should be fun. But see, my thing about this is that Brazil are like Brazil are not. I think Brazil should even be in the conversation for doing anything at the World Cup next year. Argentina, on the other hand, though, Argentina, because Lautaro Martinez is developing and so forth. If they can get another thing from Di Maria, but for me, I think I'm going to go with like a 2-2. I think it's going to be an exciting 2-2 draw. It's going to be an exciting 2-2 draw. But yeah, they should, like Brazil. Okay, you should get some revenge. If Neymar and Brazil lose to Argentina again, they best not, man. From Peter Gonzalez, man, thank you for the dub. Who was the better player, Gerrard or Beckham? Gerrard. Like this is like simple. Like for me, David Beckham for me is the most overrated player of all time. He could cross, good at set pieces, good at free kicks, and so forth and everything. But hands down, 100%, he is the most overrated footballer of all time. Hands freaking down, man. Gerrard just had more to his game. He had the passing, he had the shooting, he could carry the ball further, he was good at tackling and so forth. So good at to bring the ball up forward more. So yeah, like easily the better player. Like Bex, his look, he just relied upon his looks, man, and so forth, man. All right, what else are you guys saying, man? What's you guys saying, man? All right. Netherlands never winning a World Cup is the biggest failure of all time. Look at the history of players they've produced. No, for sure. Like even before Portugal won, actually don't know. Sorry, because even before Spain won the World Cup, I would say Netherlands are the best team not to win the World Cup, and it's shocking they've never won the World Cup, and they've been to 3 World Cup finals. Like if Spain had never won the World Cup, no biggie. Portugal not winning the World Cup, okay, not really biggie. But Van Basten, Cruyff, Bergkamp, Seedorf, De Boer, Van der Sar, Edgar Davids, Van Basten, like the amount, like they have produced some of the most technically Robin. They produce some of the most technically gifted footballers that the game has ever seen. So how are you able to have all these players, but yet you've never been able to deal with the World Cup? And that's why I'm sorry, like I'm always a bit sketchy on Cruyff, because Cruyff, I mean, where's your World Cup, bro? Where's your World Cup, man? HH, you're the goats of football YouTube. Oh, thank you. You're too kind. Quick question. Do you think La Liga is now the worst league out of Europe's 5 leagues, other than Uber Eats? No. I still believe La Liga is better than Bundesliga. La Liga might be near on par to Serie. And in some ways, you can still argue that La Liga is better than the Premier League. And see, my thing is, let's see what happens in these European competitions, Let's see. Because last season, okay, fine, a La Liga team did reach the CL final, but they reached the UCL semis, and the La Liga team won the Europa League. Not only did the La Liga team win the Europa League, they won the Europa League against a far superior opponent in Man United. So my thing is that before we now say La Liga is now trash because Messi and Cristiano have now left, let's see how far La Liga teams on how well they do in the UCL and how well they do in the Europa League. Because I still feel that Atletico Madrid have a freaking amazing squad now. With Camavinga coming into Real Madrid, let's now see what they do. In my opinion, Benzema is one of the best players in the world, hence why he's still tier 1. So La Liga still has a guy who I consider one of the best players in the world in Karim Benzema. So there is still amazing talents there. There's still amazing players in the team. So La Liga still has Courtois, best keeper in the world for me right now. Benzema, one of the best players in the world right now. And let's not see put Modric. Modric might still be one of the best midfielders out there. So Real still have some freaking guys, and who knows what freaking Depay is going to do. I think that Depay could really, really say what's up. So no, I think it's unfair to call it the worst league out of the top 5 leagues, man. What else are you guys saying? I'm not going to answer that, man. Hey, who do you think will win the 2022 World Cup? Are you feeling France will really flop? Yeah, see after the Euros, I think France could self-destruct again, man. I really feel that they could self-destruct again. Um, it's very hard to say right now. I just have just thrown in a couple of teams. I just think that I believe in things rhyming in the universe and so forth. And I do feel that Portugal and Argentina are going to get far. I think Italy are going to be a threat. I think Italy are going to be a threat. I think, especially if they can still keep this core of their team and they can just get one last ounce of strength from Chiellini and so forth, I think Italy will be a threat. Um, you know, after Messi did what he did, because something told me that Messi was never going to win anything with Argentina. And I thought, you know what, we're not going to have the conversation that, okay, Messi never won anything with Argentina. So I always thought that was always going to be the asterisk on Messi's career. Something tells me something crazy is going to happen in 2022. And I just think because it's in December, it's in Qatar, it's never happened before, it's in a weird part of the year. Something just tells me that it really might be Argentina. I hope it's not. Because I love there's nothing I love more than using that whole World Cup argument to demean both of them. I love the argument. So long may it continue. So I am fearful of what's going to happen in 2022, but something just tells me that something is in the air. Something is in the air. And something just tells me that it's either going to be Argentina or Portugal, like either Messi or Chris, and that's just going to be their footnotes because this could be the last hurrah. Like this is unless Cristiano is having a laugh and wants to kill himself, this is last Cristiano. Messi can maybe push himself, but this should really be his last hurrah. I mean, my fear is I don't want it, but my fear is it could either be Argentina or Portugal because it's like a story. It's like a story. Like based on how that Messi Copa America thing happened. And my thing is that think about it. France, I think they're going to self-destruct. Italy, I think Italy against the South American sides could be a struggle. You can do it against Europe, but against South American sides, they could struggle. Belgium are out of it. England are out of it. Now, if Nigeria, say Nigeria, from your boy Emmanuel, man. Thank you for the sorry, Emmett. What was that? Emmett, thank you for the dub. Emmett, thank you for the dub. Emmett. So Emmett says, should Spurs bother expending any energy to win the Europa Conference League, or should they focus on the Premier League and just play the under 21s in Europe this year? Yes. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. If you win the Europa Conference League, I don't think you gain any entrance anywhere. The Premier League is far more important. I think now the thing with Europa Conference is that it's a trophy, and I think what Santos wants is, hey man, I want to be the guy that's really finally brought a trophy. So I think they may treat it as the Carabao Cup. Play your under 21s up until let's say like the quarters, then start playing. Like if they get to the quarters, you've got to start playing your guys because hey, there's a real chance of winning a trophy here. But I think their focus has to be the Premier League and has to be trying to get into that top four, which is going to be super difficult because I don't think they can make top four. But that has to be their aim. Their main aim has to be let's try and see whether we can break into that whole top four thing because Europe. And my thing is, even if they win the Europa Conference League, is that really a trophy to be proud of? It is a trophy. A trophy is a trophy. But do you really be proud of winning the Europa Conference League? Based on the players they have, they should win it. But if it's me, focus on the EPL. Focus on the EPL because see, the trophies we respect, okay, your league title, your domestic cup trophy, and of course the UCL. Those are the real trophies there. And nobody even respects African Papa John's trophy, man. So your boy MMN, thank you for the dub. MN, thank you for the dub. MN says, will the World Cup champion course occur once again in 2020 2022? Based on what to this day, I can't believe what happened to France. Like I cannot guys, I had my laptop and I was literally making the thumbnail for the post-match when Switzerland made it 3-3. That is how sure I was that we beat them. I'm fearful. Based on what's happening, I'm fearful that France get knocked out in the groups. Remember, what's it called? So France win World Cup in 98. They get knocked out of the groups in 02 World Cup. Italy win the World Cup in 06. They get knocked out of the groups in 2010. Spain win the World Cup in 2010. Get knocked out of the groups in 2014. Germany win the World Cup in 2014. That is a crazy course. Think about it. It has happened systematically 3 times to France, then to Italy, then to Spain. Then that is insane. That is an insane course. And what it shows that just shows you that 4 years is a long time. But what is in France's favor is how young this team is. It's such a young team. You see, Spain, they lost Xavi, who was very crucial and critical. Iniesta was there, but you keep saying that he's better than Zidane and so forth. France, remember, they didn't have Zidane for the first 2 games there. But I think what could help France is, look, Camavinga is coming through. Mbappe is still so super young. Ustale, so the team is young. What was Italy's thing was Lippi was a loyalty merchant. He was far too loyal to guys that were too old. They were far too old, and they're guys that had no business being there, man. So, but I'm fearful. From Solid Chief, which league has the best supporters? England. Premier League, I'm sorry. I know that Serie, it's very passionate and so forth in Syria. France, super passionate in France and so forth. Germany, amazing because the attendance in Germany is so superb. Italy and Spain, good. Thing about England is it's nobody sings like England. These guys will sing from minute 1 till the 93rd minute, and it's the variation, and it's how different the supporters are. Like, one thing you give the Premier League is the supporters and just the different characterizations of all the teams. Because remember, like, you have to understand that England, in a cultural sense, like, England is a very, very, very old country, and England hang their hats. They live and die off tradition, and they really, really take tradition and being traditional seriously, man. But when you just look at AFT TV, look at that. Like, look at the kind of characters they have from AFT. So the kind of characters that you meet and the kind of entrenched passion and the songs and just the humor and everything that they have and how they coin names for players and so forth. It's unlike any other league. So for supporters, Premier League wins hands down. It wins, and I've always said, you can criticize Premier League in terms of the football, the quality, but in terms of the supporters and the atmosphere in games, unlike any other. From Uncle Wam, thank you for the dub. Uncle Wam, thank you for the dub. Uncle Wam says, HH, I think we might finally get a World Cup winner outside Europe and South America. Take a really close look at USA. Very interesting young talent. What? No. No, sorry. No, like, no, sorry. Like, I hope and pray that you're not saying that America are going to win the World Cup coming soon. Not like Asia, Africa, and North America are way too far behind. They are generations away. America is not even close. They're not close. They're not close. Like, when you look at the level of Italy, Spain, Argentina, Brazil, France, and so forth, these guys are Japan is much further ahead than America. Japan is much further ahead than America. And I've always said the issue with Africa is if all of your best talents is going to Belgium, to England, and so forth, what freaking chance do you have? Of course, like one of my dreams in life, forget just one of my life dreams, is to see Nigeria win the World Cup. I can't think of anything more amazing than that. I dream about it. I dream about Nigeria winning the World Cup. I don't know it's never going to happen. I've not accepted that I will never be alive and see the day that Nigeria win the World Cup. It's and like it's just not like I'm not a Disney Plus merchant. I'm not a Disney Plus merchant. I'm a realist man. So no, bro. Like, bro, you're capping business. It's not happening, bro. Like, and the thing with America is you have to take it seriously. They don't take it seriously because they don't really invest in it enough. So, and if you don't invest in it enough, you stand zero chance. What is your favorite video or hangout that you have done on your YouTube channel? Favorite video. It's between Miracle at Camp Nou and when Tottenham beats Man City. And I think, correct me if I'm wrong, I have to check. I think I did a 90-minute post. I told you guys, I think I'm mad. Like, wait a minute. I think I actually did a 90-minute post match, and I actually cut it up in 3 parts. I did a 90-minute post-mortem post match when Tottenham beats Man City in the UCL. So I think it's either that or it's so this is video or it's Miracle at Camp Nou is that's one of the most shocking things I've ever seen in my life. Because I told you I had to have a freaking meal to just sort of engage my brain. Hangout 8-2. Like that was one for the ages. Like that's right. That's for me. I feel that is the channel's peak. Like at one point, the channel's peak was like Miracle at Camp Nou, 7-1. Like 8-2. Like because see that's the whole point is that I so wish I understood about live shows and did it. Because imagine if we'd done like a live hangout after Miracle at Camp Nou. That'd have been amazing. Imagine the hangout after that. But that's nice. Was like it's one of those things of where were you? Just seeing Barcelona, a team that people fear. You see, the thing about Brazil and Germany, yes, everyone was crazy and so forth. And I get it, it's Brazil and everything, but it's like, okay, Brazil, it was a time since they won the World Cup. The thing about Barcelona was this was a team that people were frightened of. People were genuinely frightened of facing Barcelona. And to just see them, because, okay, losing 4, see, they lost 4-0 to Liverpool. It was really 4-3. They lost, what's it called, 4-1 to, I think it was really like, I don't know, 4. But the issue was, like, that 8-2 was like, okay, this is like, this is like they've been beaten down. Like it's just to see such a great team being just brought down to their knees and on earth was insane. So just having that hangout was because, and I think the thing I love most about doing this, because obviously like this is like a job for me right now. Obviously, like your dogs and your supporters, they help, with the income and everything, but when I started this, I always said that my mission statement back in 2010 was, man, imagine if like there isn't a place or a channel where a football match happens and there's a reaction to it. Because see, most channels are about Arsenal, Bayern, Chelsea, they are club focused and so forth. But I'm like, Champions League, that's my thing. So there isn't a place where, okay, my Bayern, like, okay, Miracle at Camp Nou, I want to hear a reaction. Like, yeah, we can, but I want to hear a reaction to what has happened. Like 8-2. I want to, and I think there's like this is the only place where we have a group of people who just gets an instantaneous reaction. So what the bloody hell did we just see, man? So that's my thing is instant reactions to when big moments happen. It's always amazing, man. King Bunny, man, thank you. Zuma's protector. Wait, is that oh yeah, Zuma. Yeah, you have Zuma. Poor Zuma. I know you hate him, but what if Lampard would have went to Barca in 05? Ronaldinho really wanted him. I think Lamps would have been beyond insane. No, Lampard in Barcelona. Yeah, Lampard at Barcelona in 05 would have been very, very good. You see, Lampard would never have worked under Guardiola. Wrong system. But Lampard under Rijkaard in that very direct attacking system with Ronaldinho, oh my God, that would have been insane. It'd have been insane. Like, it would have been insane. Like, and Lampard being another attack. Basically, just Lampard in that system, in that Rijkaard attacking system, and obviously with Ronaldinho, oh, he'd have been superb. I always said about Lampard, he's a garbage trash manager who should have never come anywhere close to coaching or managing Chelsea, and he shouldn't be a manager. Like, it's obviously not your thing. But that guy redefined what a midfielder could do. Like, in terms of goal scoring from midfield, bro, like he redefined it. He redefined it. Like, it is still shocking to think how many goals this guy was able to score from midfield, man. Guys, it's been swell, man. So, guys, remember, man, we're going to be here tomorrow. Tomorrow, we have some great subways. Hangout is back tomorrow, but this has been beautiful as well. And I thank you for everybody who's coming, chatted, and so forth. But please, please, please leave a like and so forth. And tomorrow, we're back here, 10:30 p.m. Saturday. Actually, wait a minute. Hold up. No. Yes, 10:30. Or it might be 11 p.m. You know what? It's going to be 11 p.m. because I'm going to watch the Brazil-Argentina game. So after the Brazil-Argentina game, we'll be having our hangouts and so forth, man. So guys, peace out, stay true, stay real, and stay sexy. One love.